decides to go. There it is. How the hell are you guys? This is Real Men Talk Shit. We are brought to you guys by Tonor. We have Josh and Myth with us as always. And this week we have Tony Murray from 60 Days In. He is one hell of a fucking guest. We're excited for this episode.
Pleasure
we are
to
a
have
day
you,
late,
Tony.
but shit happens, and now we're all here. So we are brought to you guys by Tonor Microphones. As internet entertainers, we are often asked about entry-level microphones that are sturdy enough to give you an introduction to your new hobby, while also giving you crystal clear tones and a perfectly balanced mid-range. Allow us to introduce you to Tonor Microphones, who are kind enough to send us brand new microphones to each one of us and sponsor the podcast and give you the gift of hearing their tones right this second, because they gave all three of us new microphones. You can get the exact same box set we did, complete with a boom arm, shock mount, and a custom Tonor pop filter, and a USB cable. Yes, that's right. This is a USB microphone, and its drivers install instantly and make this setup completely plug and play. Go ahead, grab your Tonor starter pack using the link in the description below and get $20 off right now. We promise you won't find another deal like this in the beginner market of audio recording and streaming. Thanks again to Tonor for sponsoring the podcast.
Thank you, Tonor.
Thank you, Tonor.
Tony, how the hell have you been, brother? We haven't heard from you in like 2 years on a podcast or a show, and it's been a while.
It's the big break again. Coming back.
Yeah. Been working. Yeah, been working. Got some stuff working out. Can't really say, the whole MDA stuff. I'm the best I can say is haven't seen the last of me,
Hey,
Nice.
Got some
that's
big
promising
stuff working
news.
in the making.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear that. Hell
We're
yeah.
going to see 60 Days in a mental institution, and Tony's going to be our first guest.
Hey, count me out for that one. I would be really boring on 60 Days In because my role in the jails and the prisons is the goofy little dude that just likes to talk shit, And that kid doesn't hang out with he's not affiliated. He don't hang out with the Aryans. He kicks with the black dudes and the Mexicans. He's just always goofy and joking. So I'd be really boring on 60 Days In. They'd be like, Josh still has neither found drugs nor done any drugs nor done anything. He just keeps playing spades and laughing. Josh just won't stop playing spades.
He's playing
boring
guitar
episode.
for 10 hours a day.
Yeah, they sent me to a joint with a guitar and I'm just outside playing all day. They're like, did you forget the mission here? Damn, dog, I thought I was home for a minute. My bad. Oh, hell.
Or they send you to Arizona, where then you become a race chaser, and then you're a big problem. And then you have the enforcer slap the shit out of you because he feels like it.
Is that where it took place or something, Arizona?
Arizona was season 5, and there was this guy named Abner, and he was the enforcer of the Chicanos.
So that's Abner's who they're talking about when they say the enforcer. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Because I personally, and I remember Abner, don't get me wrong, but whenever I posted about Tony coming on our show, I called him the greatest, and I put it into quotations, inmate to ever step in on 60 Days In. And everybody seemed to agree except for one guy who was like, man, what about the enforcer? And I was like, who's he talking about? But I totally forgot. Yeah, he was talking about Abner, huh? No, I don't think he would have been in charge of me because I'm a white dude. So I'd have been like, what up, Abner? Hey, ¿qué onda, vato? Hey, ¿qué onda, wey? What's up, man? Come on, play spades. Get us some cartas, man. Come on, I was just chameleon, bro. I wasn't trying to get in a gang or act tough or nothing. I was just over there like, hey, I got a smart mouth and I popped off on a video game and I'm here for threats. Let's just have a good time and play guitar and spades and shit, man. I'm not trying to get stabbed over this.
Yeah. So what level what security level did you go to, Tony? When you were in there?
So I would have to say so I end up probably their maximum security. In my opinion, wasn't the maximum security, to be honest. But yeah, they're maximum security.
Highest designation points, greatest threat level, though. Whether you think that the joint is carried that way or not is I guess what you're getting at, right?
Right, exactly.
But they still were the top dangerous. Yep. This one. I wanted to ask as well, and especially you said that you've been working. I see that you were a CO in Atlanta, at least at the time that you started, when you undertook the project. Is that? Can I assume that you've moved on from that, or is that still kind of your baseline right now while you get the other projects moving?
I actually moved on from that. This is actually the first time I ever came out publicly and said it. A lot of people been asking about it, but this is the first time me sharing it publicly. I actually
thank you.
have moved on from it. Yeah,
Good, man. I'm glad to hear
Is
that.
that because
So
of
I'm
your
no longer-
experience on the show?
I hope so.
A couple of reasons. So one of the reasons. Let me back up a little bit. One of the reasons why I wanted to participate with 60 Days In, and I was so eager and interested in it, was because I found myself getting a little too comfortable in law enforcement. Meaning, there was no fear, if I should say. I mean, if I can put it like that, there wasn't. How can I say it? I literally run to the threat on whatever level.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
what? It goes there.
A level of complacency.
And I found myself exactly, and I found myself doing too much, like getting that feeling of danger. It wasn't in the back of my mind, so I had to humble myself, check myself, and that opportunity 60 Days In presented itself, and I was like, yo, that would be a perfect way for me to get in an environment that I'm not in control of, that I have to find my way. I've never been to jail before. I have to figure out stuff. Yeah, I've been working at a jail for years, been over here for a couple years, over there doing different stuff. However, I've never been behind the bars itself.
Right.
So for me, it was a humbling situation that I did not take for granted. I learned a lot. And I mean, but as far as part of the reasons why I resigned, for one, I don't like where policing is going nowadays. I came in when the police actually helped the public. It wasn't oh, you're guilty because you look like this, or you're guilty because you walk like that, or you this,
Damn right.
this. No, I wasn't trained. I wasn't trained that way. So now I see that policing is definitely going that way. I'm in the Atlanta area, so I mean, y'all
It's
see
bad.
the news too, and I disagree with and I disagree with 100%. And I don't want to be a part of it. It's that simple.
Yeah, conscientious
So,
objector,
I
right? I kind of
distance
said it
myself.
wrong.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, definitely. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason, I was presented a couple opportunities that I can provide better for my family
Absolutely.
and myself. The doors just opened up after I did that. A lot of people love what I did. They're extremely interested in me, and just a whole lot of other stuff. So I'm working. I've been doing construction work, renovating houses and commercial properties for probably 15 years now. So that opened the door for me to do that full time. So now I actually I love law enforcement too. But my first love is construction. And now I'm able to do that, set my own schedule, my own hours, and now I'm just living life. And
Excellent, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I can see it. You say that you had a certain level of complacency with the job that you wanted to kind of shake off. And I feel like that's important because as much as you got guys like me and stuff like that, and et cetera, being a CO, people can clown on all they want or whatever. It's a dangerous job, dude. I mean, you're surrounded by some of the most dangerous men in the world. Yeah. Mental illness is rampant in jail and prison. You don't know what somebody thinks you did to them, or it's a dangerous job. And complacency is very, very dangerous as a CO. I mean, that I've seen bad things happen to. Now, to be fair, the COs that did it were the ones that didn't respect the inmates, that treated us like shit, and stuff like that. But when they got complacent and the bad circumstances added up, it was over with, and I didn't see anybody get killed or anything, for what it's worth. I didn't mean to make it sound that ominous, but it is obvious, in my opinion, that during your time at the job, you must have been a very, very observant, and you must have really paid attention to your job, because I know a lot of COs that have been there for years that would have never been as successful as you were, because they don't have the awareness like you obviously did when you came in. You knew it was about respect. That was one of the first things you said coming in, is with inmates, it's all about respect. And that absolutely is fundamentally true. So I can see that. I can imagine you getting some other business opportunities from this arising, because just that alone, in my opinion, is impressive. That shows you got a lot of adaptability to be able to go into that situation. Because I know full-fledged criminals who are die by the sword. I'm a thug, I'm a criminal gangster, that get turned upside down when they get to jail. So, it's obviously, and then you got guys like me, like I'm just a nerdy little white dude that likes to talk shit on video games. I went to prison. I did fine, and a lot of it, I don't know how to put it, man, but I can see that it being, you obviously were very attentive at your job, because it is all about respect. And I can imagine you were probably one of the COs that the inmates didn't give any problems to.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't have any issues with any of the inmates. I was actually on the maximum security floor. So we got 7 floors. So the lower you are, the less your crimes are. The higher you go, the worse your crimes are. So I was on the 7th floor, and you know, the when you breathe, the air is different there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On 6 and 7, the air is
The
different.
tension.
It's just a whole, you can cut the tension with a knife.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's almost to the extent where when you come in to do your head count, like, you know something is wrong, because instead of the inmates walking straight out of their cell for head count, they sticking their head at their door looking left to right to make sure, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be observant. I'm extremely observant. I mean, I watch everything. I observe everything. I watch, like, I'm really good at reading people body language. You know, you can be looking me in my eyes, talking to me, but your body language is telling me something else, and I'm gonna move accordingly to your body language. And I mean, I'm just is all I can say, to be honest, is Fulton County. Like, Fulton County,
Right.
I'm not gonna lie,
Mhm.
Fulton County got some of the best training, to be honest. I'm not saying it's the best, but compared to a lot of other law enforcement, Fulton County hands down. I've been to other agencies training people, and Fulton County hands down the best instructors, the best tactics. I mean, it's crazy. That's why when I was like, hey, if I get in a fight, if I get jumped, I'm okay with it, this and that, because I'm extremely comfortable with hand-to-hand combat. Like, I mean, if I lose, I know how to take a punch, I know how to give a punch, I know how to. I mean, it just the training I received is just like, I mean, where he at? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
let's do it. You know what I mean? And not even on a cocky note. It's just, I'm just confident. You know, I'm
Yeah.
just
Big difference between confidence and
how you want to
cockiness.
play it. You know?
And they say it ain't bragging if you can
Right,
back it
right.
up and you demonstrated everything that you're talking about by thriving in the concrete jungle, because that's all the shit that you need to get by in there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever's coming out of this, when
Yeah,
somebody's talking to you in there, you don't pay any attention to this. Like he said, you pay attention to this, you know, or they're fist cuffed, are they standing back, are they leaning forward, you know, and that's the kind of thing. So, I mean, I don't take it as you bragging at all. You obviously showed that you have those abilities, because I showed up when I got arrested. I was 19. I had a drug and alcohol problem. I was a young knucklehead. I don't know how much you were around the young people in there, but, you know, young dudes come in acting ignorant, you know, and I went in acting stupid, and I wanted to fight at the drop of a hat. And by the time that it was all over with, I was very humbled. I'll tell you that much. It was a very humbling experience. And I like to think that the main reason that I ended up humbling myself and moving forward from that was the humility given me, either, you know, by getting my ass whooped, or just the fact that you have to. I learned how to slide into that role that you're talking about. I'm sorry. It's the role of, you know, the goofing, but paying attention and being observant. That's kind of what saved me, man, is that I quickly learned I'm in here causing trouble. I'm the odd man out in here. I need to get with the damn program, you know, and learned how to adapt and observe. And, okay, you know, my second day in here, I'm fresh off the streets, and this dude asked if I want a ramen noodle, and I said, hell yeah, bitch. And now we have an issue. Okay, I learned from this. I'm not doing that anymore, you know. Like, just little things like that. You make a mistake once, that's okay. But when you keep making the mistake, you know, and so it's good to see that you're a dude who clearly doesn't make the same mistake twice. You obviously learned a lot, man, because between you and Abner, I've never seen. And when we were talking a little bit before the show, man, it was very interesting to me, because I've seen inmates and COs get into it 1,000 times, because inmates have a tough job. I mean, COs have a tough job. Their job by nature, you got to be kind of a tough dude or be ready to get tough on a mofo, you know? And so COs rightfully have a little bit of a, COs a lot of times have a little bit of a, you know, I'm kind of a bad mama jamma. But the inmate's perspective is, you think you're bad because you're in charge of us, and we're us. So who's really bad? And that causes a lot of, you know, button heads. And I don't know, man. I will just say that the CO respect thing, man, it was great to see your refreshing perspective on that before you went in, man. Respect being a two-way street. And you obviously did great with that. You guys did a phenomenal job. And I don't know, was the entire point of this, realistically, it wasn't for entertainment. It was supposed to be a sting, essentially, right?
Right. Yeah. No, nothing was stripped. Nothing was. There, a lot of people was asking, was like, Tony, did they ask you to say this or do this or do nothing? That was all off. Like, and for the record, everything that I did or I said, it was either done to me at work or my coworkers. So if I went in there and I robbed 100 people, me personally, I'll be perfectly fine with that, because that really happens in jail. Like, I'm okay with that. And part of my angle was I wanted to bring awareness to what really happened in jail, because, you know, people will sit back and watch us right now and say, oh yeah, oh that's cool, that's this, that's that, or they'll watch a show on A&E and say, oh, that's nice. Oh, that don't really happen that way, or that don't really happen that way. But until you actually been incarcerated, or until you really walk in those shoes, now you have a different outlook on it. Now you have another found respect for it. So it's easy to judge people in different scenarios when you see them on TV, like, oh, why did he have to do that, or why did he have to do that? He didn't have to do that. So it's easy to say that when you're sitting from the comfort of
When
your
they weren't
bed, you
there.
and your wife, y'all watching exactly.
And the worst thing
So-
you ever
so
did was
that's
go
why
72
I
on a
made it-
70. Mhm.
Right. So that's why I always tell like the people who tap out, the people who quit. I literally understand why you quit. It's not easy. It's not hard. And what I try to get a lot of people to understand is, people say, but you can leave at any point. You can leave it. Yeah, that's what
That's
make it
not what's
harder. Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not in there by I'm
not
not in
forced.
there because I have to be. I made a decision. Now I'm debating, like, do I really want to do this? Is it really worth it? Like, that's a whole nother problem, a whole nother mindset. So if I actually go out and commit a crime and now I have to do it, I don't have a choice. So now that I have a choice, now I can just raise my hand, give the signal, this or that, and they come get me. But don't nobody want to do that. But for everybody who ever tapped out, so to speak, I mean, that's why I told Mark, I'll never blame you for tapping out. I don't blame you for that. Like, I get it. I'm here right with you. I get it. This is my second time. I get it, bro. But, so a lot of people don't understand, it's easy to judge from the comfort of your bed, your couch, and, you watch, oh, that's funny, that's this, that's that. That's cool. But the reality is, for me, even for like Shanice, she had celiac, gluten. She was like gluten. She could only eat like gluten food or something like that. And I like the fact that she did it. A lot of people was like, why would you do that under those conditions and this and that? But it's people who really go to prison, get convicted, who really have that illness. So why not bring awareness to it? Or if someone has cancer, why not bring awareness to it? Or if someone has HIV, why not bring awareness to it? So for me, I like all, like, it's like a melting pot. I want every race, every condition. If you're this, if you're handicapped, if you're homosexual, if you white, if you're black, if you're Hispanic, I don't care what you are. Come, do it. Because at some point you're gonna reach somebody. You're gonna touch just one person. It's gonna be like, okay, I didn't know. Now I have a better understanding because I've seen how this person, who we share the same illness, we have a better understanding. I have a better understanding of it now. And that's, for me, at this point, hindsight, looking back now, like, it's the picture's more clear. But at the time it was like, rah, 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 you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. But I definitely I enjoyed it every minute. Like, I literally would, if I wasn't as known as I am, I would do it over and over. Like I said in the reunion, they
You
asked
can't do
me
it
to
today.
again. I'm putting both hands up. You know what I mean?
You go in
that
today, they're gonna be like, "Hey,
conversation.
nah, Tony, nah."
In that conversation of doing it again. So how much money would it take for you to do another 60 days in?
He just said he's down.
Oh man, man, we talking six figures, man. We talking six figures.
Respectable.
6
I'll tell
figures.
you this: I couldn't tap out, and I motherfucking would have. I promise you that. Everybody always telling me, "Hey, everybody's all the time, oh, Josh, you're so strong. You made it through prison." I didn't have a choice. What am I gonna do? Cry and kick the door, motherfucker? I was stuck. You're so strong, my ass. I would have tapped out 10 seconds after as soon as the FBI kicked open my door, I'd been like, let me out. All right, I'm done. Never mind. Yeah, hey. Oh, man, my arm hurts. Hey, come on. As soon as they knocked on my door, I didn't have the choice. So I definitely, it's easy for me to judge Mark. It's easy for me to laugh and say, bro, I did it. Come on, man. You must not have any kind of social skills. It's easy, but I developed those social skills because my ass couldn't leave. You know what I mean? I had to. So I mean, it's again, I didn't even think about it until you said it. But you're right. Even I myself was kind of judgy, like, bro, look at me, and I handled prison just fine, man. Come on, But you're right, dude. If I would have tapped out, if I wouldn't have been forced to grow to where I could handle it, maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know. You got a good point, man. And even I was guilty of that. That's crazy, and I fucking did time. Damn.
How much would it have taken you, Josh, to do 60 days?
I'm not going. No, I'm good.
Good enough.
I'm good. I did 1,795 the first time, 365 the second. I'm good. They can keep it. I'm
What
straight.
about you, man?
Oh God, it would have to be at least 6 figures.
6 figures for 60 days.
Yeah.
I'd do it for 50.
Man,
I'd do it for 50. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
about that.
Look, I'll say this, and I haven't talked about this on stream, man, but this is a real life example of what's going on with me. Okay, I had no idea whether or not I was any kind of mentally messed up from prison. I don't think I am. I kept a good sense of humor about it. I didn't get stabbed or nothing. I didn't see anything horrible, nothing like that.
Josh,
so I thought,
don't lie. You did get stabbed. You have a pearl.
Okay, the one time I did get stabbed, I paid to get stabbed. All right, that's a little bit different. We don't have to talk about that in front of Tony. Okay, damn man, we have to put me on blast in front of the guests. I don't think they did that in the county jails. Hopefully he doesn't know what the hell. I forgot what my first point was. What was I saying? Damn it, Zach. Somebody always got hit with the pearl. Tony, you know what pearls are, man?
Yeah, I'm curious now.
Oh God.
Yeah, man. Let's just gloss it over and get back on track, man. It's a Puerto Rican thing, I think, man. In prison, my friends taught me into it. It's where you get a piece of a domino put in your junk, dude. All the Hispanic dudes do it. They get the little implant. You never heard of that before? They do it at the Fed joints like crazy.
No.
Yeah, I was wild when I was 21, and they were all, bro, I'm telling you, whenever you get out and you use it on a girl, they can't go back to any other guy because it's going to do this spot thing and this. And I just totally bought everything they were selling. And I was like, yeah, count me in. I paid the dude $21 and it hurt. And it didn't get infected. I'm all good. But that's what he was joking about. Let's get past that because I'm bothered. So this one guy showed up on my YouTube stream today and spammed like 30 times. Let me see the pearl. So oh man, I've heard a lot of pearl today. It is getting very well known that I did that. The pressure is on for me to post it somewhere. So I'm just being on the internet as long as I am. I know that it's going to live forever, and I'm just nervous about it, even though you don't have to show your whole, anyways. So whenever you got there, they said that you had to save the program. All right. When you got there, they said that you had to save the program. Now, I was curious about, I think that they said somebody before you, they said you're the third or fourth, and two have tapped out. I don't know what order that happened in. When they said save the program, were they putting funding into this as an attempted sting to get shit out of the jail? And so they were about to give up?
Yes, they was about to. They felt like the program was a bust, and pretty much I was the last hope.
And then it wasn't a bust anymore.
And I told, I'm an individual where if I put my mind to something, or if I say I'm gonna do something, I mean what I tell you. I'm gonna do what I tell you to the best of my ability. And even when I was like, hey, I'm gonna go down in history, I'm gonna be the best participant, this season gonna break the mold, this and that, all that, people don't know how to take it. Me, I'm definitely I'm a confident guy. I mean, even how I deal with my kids, my family, I'm just extremely confident. Go to Tony, he got the answer. Ask Tony. I mean, I'm from North Carolina, and with different family issues we happen in North Carolina, call Tony. Yep. I mean, that's just the role I inherit from Yay Big, and it just carried on to my adulthood, and that's how I carry my life. That's how I move.
It's been working out great for you, and you went in there, and it seemed like you saved it. I mean, it seemed like you were in the mix pretty quickly, I got to say, and this would have been my forte, to be honest, this aspect of the project, because I spent the first 2 or 3 years of my incarceration doing a lot of drugs and smoking a lot of weed and stuff. So, needless to say, as you have seen yourself, people can scout out who wants drugs when you get in there, and who, and sometimes they're a little bit wrong about who might be a snitch or might not be. But in my case, I was always like, yo, what up? Where the weed at? And they're like, this dude is not a cop. Look at this kid. You know what I mean? Like, this dude definitely wants to smoke weed and like watch King of the Hill or something like that.
So they were all cool with it.
King of the Hill. I love that.
The Bieber hair. Look. I kept it buzzed most of the time that I was in there. All right. Hang on. Remember, I looked like this then. It was 2% more intimidating, which makes it 0.5% intimidating. No, I'm just kidding.
So you were the king of the hill, Sling Shady.
Yeah, I was working out in county jail. I thought prison was going to be some shit. I was about 50 pounds heavier then. You could tell. I'd been working out when I was in jail for 17 months before sentencing. So I was a lot bigger whenever I got to jail. I had my head, or when I got to prison from jail, and I was a lot larger, and I had my head shaved. And then I pretty much got there, found out where the independent guys were. I was like, not Aryan, not racist, not homophobic, not joining the gang. Don't want nothing to do with that. They said, okay, cool. We sit here. I said, good. And that was pretty much it, And then I started growing my hair out a little bit longer and losing weight.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you actually go to prison for? What do you actually get convicted of?
The charge that I had to plead guilty to because of the way the law was written at the time was transmitting threats to destroy buildings by means of fire and explosives. Terrorist threat. For some online video
So
game
what
trash
did you
talk.
actually do?
Yeah, so I was playing this
Really?
video game. Yeah, I was playing a video game. I actually, believe it or not, yeah, we
Everyone reacts.
yeah, we get this at every
Yep.
podcast, just so you know. Yeah, I was playing an online video game back in 2012. I was 19 and I was drunk as shit. I had a drinking problem, like I said. And this friend of mine was telling me to download a video game that made fun of a school shooting. And I didn't think it was funny. I typed the name of the game on Google, looked at it. I told him, I said, that's not funny, dude. And the FBI made a big deal about the fact that I looked at the game. And they tried to say that I attempted to download the game, but that's a whole nother. Anyways, so I said, no, man, I don't want to download a game making fun of Columbine. This other dude says, hey, dumbass, because we're on a multiplayer game. Hey, moron, don't talk about Columbine. If you're going to be talking about shit like that, why don't you just call me on the phone and kill yourself? LOL. And he typed his phone number in the chat. And I said, man, I can't wait. I love Columbine, bro. That's why I'm talking about it, because I love Columbine. I'm a Columbine kind of guy, man. It's going to be great. Just look out for my name on the news next year. And 4 days later, the SWAT team and the bomb squad and the FBI showed up at my house, and they made a really big deal about it. It became a really, really big publicized case because I didn't have a BB gun in my house, a pocket knife, drawings. I didn't have a job to be saving money for weapons, like no evidence at all, except for some shady testimony from ex-girlfriends that they said was coerced. That's alleged. I'm not stating that they were coerced. I'm saying they said they were coerced. And it became kind of a big scapegoat landmark issue about what you can and can't say online and what crosses into, threats that are not protected by the First Amendment. All of that being neither here nor there, my dumb ass got sentenced to 6 years for it. Yeah. So that's the thing.
So
Victim crimes are supposed to legally. Yeah. You know your stuff. The crime is supposed to have a victim, right? Well, apparently the First Amendment does not protect anything that may be constituted as a true threat to an impartial third party at the time that I made the threat. The law is a little different now. So therefore, it is considered to be actually a victimless crime, except for the impartial third party that may have overheard the threat, that thought you were serious. Isn't that some shit? Because what he's saying is right. By law, It's supposed to be an identifiable victim for you to have to serve time, because it's supposed to be retribution to your society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
a
you did this to this person. We take this much of your life, and it makes sense. And as a former inmate that knows that the prosecution system is fucked up, crooked, racist, and corrupt, I'm saying I don't know of a better way to do it other than to improve what we have. Like the prison thing, it's messed up. But anyways, punishment is an important part of society, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Even with me saying that, hell, what was my first point, man?
Yeah. Hey, what? I don't know what state that was in, but just DM me and let me know what state, so I know not to go there.
Feds, man. I was feds all the way. I was in Mississippi, though, but it was feds. Man. That's why I told you that I've been to Atlanta and Lovejoy. I'm sure you know both of those places because they're fed joints,
Yeah.
So I've gone through Atlanta transfer like 3 different times, and I've been to Lovejoy at the same time that Gucci Mane was there. I saw him, but I wasn't on his block. You remember Gucci Mane was there with the ice cream tattoo on his face? I saw him in a block we were passing.
Yeah.
I've been all up in Georgia, and I was also going to say this earlier when you were talking about how on the higher floors of Fulton County you can cut the tension, with a knife. And I would like to humbly posit that might not just be because you're getting higher in the security there. Your whole area over there is fucking crazy, bro. Atlanta's popping, Lovejoy is popping, Fulton County's popping. It is what it is, man. Your criminals are good at what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a dangerous area to be a CO and an inmate. It is what it is, man. There's some real criminals there, And Lovejoy, though, I love Lovejoy. Lovejoy was sweet.
Yeah, I tell people all the time. I actually I was at Rikers Island. Did a couple I guess interviews or whatever. And like, I'm not gonna say Fulton is that bad, but it's right there. I mean, it's
Rikers right now is run completely by the inmates. The entire fucking prison is run by inmates.
The inmates took over?
Yes, the inmates completely took over.
I would have dreaded that day.
I got 2 buddies who work out there.
It's fucking crazy.
Good grief, man. I dread to think. I wouldn't have wanted to be there, I can tell you that. Nope.
That doesn't sound like an appealing time.
Sometime when we're off stream, by the way, I need to show you guys, unless Zach wanted to try and find it and pull it up. But the prison that I left, I violated Tony, for what it's worth. I smoked some weed when I got out of prison. I came out to 2017 from 2012 or 2018. fucking confused. I didn't know anything about Snapgram and InstaChat and all that stuff. And, you know, music had changed and slang was different and all this. And I went right back to doing what I did best. I smoked a bunch of weed, and the judge sent me back for another year. And I was at a low security that time. I was at medium high my whole first bid because I was a terrorist on paper, you know. And that low security joint, I left it, and like a few months later, coronavirus hit. And Zach, dude, if you type in like Forest City, Arkansas prison and find that video, an inmate filmed a video with a cell phone. The inmate straight up abandoned. I mean, the COs abandoned it. They left the pod. They left a note on the door that said, if you have a sick call, if you're sick, tell a CO, fill out a sick call form and give it to a CO. And the COs weren't coming. There's a video of it. The bathrooms had no soap. The hot water wasn't working. Like, dude, I got so blessed getting out of there when I did, man. I was this close. That one inmate got corona, and they just left it. Straight up left it. And the low security's open pod, like 150. You don't lock down in a cell at night. It's 150 men in a room. So, yeah, man, the incarceration, the prosecution system has a lot of touching up to do. I never thought that I would be, you know, somebody that tried to raise awareness for that, or somebody that would raise that flag. I never expected my life to take that path, but having been there and done it, I can tell you a lot of things like sentencing discretion. That's not supposed to happen. Statistically, if you take a guy like me, if I didn't have a criminal background right now, I'm a 29-year-old, you know, normal white dude, whatever. If I had no criminal background, you take a 29-year-old black guy that does the same exact amount of weed as me, and statistically he gets a harsher sentence. That's one of the things wrong with the fucking system. Sentencing discrepancy and disparities, you know. COs obviously not making a living wage because they're bringing in crooked shit. Like, there's a lot of touching up to be done, but I do, you know, I think that the punishment aspect of prison obviously works. It works everywhere else in the world. America, we got something fucked up going on, you know. The thing that I was really
100%.
shocked about when you got there was how much contraband was in that jail, dude. That shocked me when they pulled that bucket out in front of you.
Me too.
With a real knife, with a real flip. Like, was that a switchblade or a pocket? I was like, what the fuck, man?
There was like a hunting pocket knife.
Yeah, it was a real street knife.
And that's why. Yeah, that's why as soon as I got in there, I made sure I got a shank, like for my protection. Like, I don't know, some people's like, oh, he just got a shank because he's just gonna give it to the sheriff. No, I got this shank for real.
Did they not see the beginning?
Because the sheriff done put me on game. Stop.
Oh,
I don't know what they watching, but I'm living.
Yeah, I see what it is, Tony. They think because you're on TV, you're supposed to let yourself get stabbed. That's what they think. They think you're supposed to just die because you're on TV. No, hell no. Yeah, no, I would have too. And I never even,
I'm going out bad.
I never carried a piece the whole time that I was locked up. And if I would have gotten there and the first thing I did was dump out a hunting knife in front of me, I'd have been like, yeah, where's the gate? Where's the fence? I'm getting me a piece.
It's like, the sheriff, he brought that big old basket, and I'm just looking like, okay, I'm used to seeing. But what really shocked me, like seeing all the knives and the contraband, that really didn't shock me because, I mean, we have the same thing at my facility. But when I seen the real knife, and then when I actually got to the facility, and the sheriff was like, "Oh, we got 500 to 600 inmates," I'm like, "All you have is 500 to 600 inmates, and you got all this contraband?"
Oh my god!
That's we house like 3,000 to 5,000. In the summers, it go up to 5,000, 5,500. On a normal base, we carry at least 35. That's a normal day.
That's nuts.
And I'm looking at this facility, 600 inmates, and you got pocket knives, you got syringes, you got
there was
all kind of steel. Like,
how are you not checking these people?
I'm getting me a shank ASAP.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. So really, it's like my look at that when the sheriff showed me that is like, okay, so that just tell me the COs ain't doing their job. So I just need to look out for myself and protect myself by all means necessary. And I told the producers that, and like I told the sheriff, I say, look, whatever need to be done, whatever I got to do, I'm going to do it. If I have to fight, you know, I'm open to it. If have the cookie crumble, it's going to happen.
Tony's coming home to his family.
You know, really to be, exactly. Like, to be honest, the conversation the sheriff and I had, he pretty much gave me the green light. He was like, hey, Tony, listen, you come from the big city, come on down here to help us. You know, you got my blessings. Whatever need to be done, get it done. If a CO can be compromised, do it. If this, do it. Like, and to be honest, I'm not gonna say I didn't have no interest in the inmates, but honestly, my main focus was the corrupt COs. When I seen all the shanks and the drugs, how rapid the clone was, my real focus was the COs, maintenance, and the nurses. Because a criminal gonna be a criminal. If someone's if someone rob people, that is just because they go to jail, they're not gonna stop robbing. If someone, the average one, when somebody do something, break the law, it is what it is. I expect you to do that. That don't shock me. But when a law enforcement officer, you raise your right hand and you take the oath, like that really means something. So in other words, I'm more so, the inmates, you find out, the drugs coming in here, he's the weight man, he's holding this, all that's cool. But I ain't got, if you stop the source, the COs, then we ain't got to worry about the inmates. They can come in and do their little time, gone. Exactly. So for me personally, I wasn't even really too much caught up with the inmates, to be honest. I mean, so like different editing stuff and this and that. But honestly, a lot of stuff that took place with the COs, it didn't make the cut. I guess I don't know why exactly, but some stuff didn't make the cut. Like I had, exactly. You said it, I didn't. You said it, I didn't.
Yeah.
So I want to say like the first week I was in there, I had sneakers. Like I had like some Jordans,
street sneakers.
I mean a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, street sneakers. Yeah. I paid like 20 suits, I think it was, for like a pair of Jordans.
What?
Those were a little tight, but they worked.
Man, why you taking advantage of drug addicts like that, man? That's crazy.
Man, I gotta have them sneakers on, so if I had to get the hidden,
crazy. He didn't know what he had. Exclusive shoes in jail.
No.
All right, sorry.
It's okay. They probably were up his
ass.
That's
big money, man. He hit a lick.
Anyway.
Dude, those things would have been worth a couple $100s in prison if they're exclusive street shoes. I'm sorry, man. That was kind of. He paid 20 suits for some. I'm sorry to go prison for a second there, but that was a lick, man. That was good.
It's okay. I wouldn't have been able to get exclusive shoes. I got size 14 feet. There's no way in hell anybody's carrying that shit.
No, not in the exclusives now.
But do you think it was so cheap because of how corrupt that prison was and how accessible contraband was in there?
That yes, but I think the main reason is because like the people there in that community, they're like so like strung out on they're so strung out on drugs. And I want to say like the COs make like $10 an hour. I mean, how do you expect somebody to come and work 12-hour shifts? Exactly. You can go down the street and work at Kroger's and make more than that and not have to deal with grown men who possibly can harm you. You know what I mean? So it's like, who really gonna, I mean, at least in Atlanta, we making good money. People want to go to work. You know what I mean? It's like there's an incentive. Like, but they're definitely the people that in that community, they're so, and I'm not saying all, definitely not all, but in that environment, in that world, people they're just so strung out on drugs are rampant. I mean, when I tell you
the drugs in Atlanta, and that's a federal joint where there's not even as much traffic as you guys get. Atlanta's notoriously flooded. Atlanta Transfer Center is like famous for like street price cigarettes, street price heroin, street price meth. Like it's so flooded in there. And it's exactly like Tony just said. And what I said a minute ago, it's because the people that are designated with the task of keeping violent inmates inside and under control aren't paid enough to live. And they, have almost no choice but to turn corrupt.
So as far as corrupt COs go and everything else, Tony, you had this hilarious clip where you ended up getting pulled out of your cell and put in seg because you pissed off a CO. Why don't you tell that story? Because that's like one time that they kind of hit you with fucking with the COs a little bit, other than stealing their crossword puzzle book.
Man's got a mind. He had to work his mind, bro.
So at that point, that's more so about me just I want to say that was the second time I went in, and that was more so the sheriff, the sheriff and I got a great relationship. However, I'm gonna hold you accountable. I mean, you tell me you did this, and this, I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna make sure. Yeah. So I don't need you living on this fairy world, because you got some people. It's like you got some people who look good on TV and say, hey, I care this, and this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna raise this money. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And then you got the people like me in the background, prior to me being on 60 Days In, who just making all the noise, who really holding people accountable. When you tell me you're gonna do this, when you put your signature on this paper, and if this don't get done, I'm calling you, finding out, emailing you, CCing the captain, the manager, so everybody putting stuff in paper on paper. So now people got to be held accountable. So and that's how I function. So in other words, when I came in or came back and the sheriff said this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, I'm testing the COs. Like he told me that they have better training, more advanced training. So I'm testing the COs and more so in depth. I'm gonna go harder now because he's telling me that
because he's bragging
they
on
got
them.
extra training. So,
Mhm.
exactly. So like either I'm gonna humble you and I'm gonna show you that what you're telling me is not accurate, that there's room for opportunity, or I'm gonna just call you a liar because you straight up lied to my face. One of the
Yep.
two. And I'm that guy. I'm gonna do that. The fact that you're the sheriff, I'm gonna respect your rank, of course, but I'm still gonna tell you what it is.
Take you to
know what I mean?
task if need
And
be.
how I see it. Exactly, respectfully. And
Oh, yeah.
with Jermichael, I like the fact that I mean, me personally, I wouldn't have done it like that, but with giving me my demeanor, how I was carrying myself in that facility, and him being him, I probably would have done that. But if it was the same scenario at my jail, I wouldn't. There would have been no reason for me to send him to the hole. There's so many other stuff that would have happened before he went to the hole. I mean, honestly,
Because
inmates
you got
don't even
thick
act
skin.
like that with me.
You got thicker skin than
Yeah,
that guy,
it's
obviously.
like
It's up to the CO.
right, right. And then I mean, even at my facility on my floor, it'll be a situation where, just to give a situation or example, say a new guy come off the street. We got everybody on my floor. They're either murderers, rapists, child molesters, the worst of the worst crimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And say a young kid come off the street for murder, and say he's in a gang, and so as soon as the gang member come in, they're letting it be known they're this, they're that. It's called making they sounds so they can find out where they brothers at in the zone or whatever. So I'll come in, count time, count time, count time. I don't need to raise my voice. I don't need to be screaming at grown men. I'm a man, you're a man. We're gonna respect each other. The respect goes both ways. It's not
Mhm.
just because I'm a CO, I'm over you. No, no, no. You're a man, I'm a man. I'm going to respect you, and best believe you're going to respect me.
Yep.
So for me personally, and it's crazy how it works, is I can go in the zone, say count time, count time. Tell the towel to pop all the doors. Everybody come out, put their back on the door, and say this new guy just fresh off the street, probably been there a day or two, probably came in on my 2 off days, and he's like count time. He's taking his time. He don't want to get up. He's just BSing around, right?
I
Trying to
hate
look
them
cool in front of his
motherfuckers.
homeboy.
Yeah.
So I'll tell him. I'll say, hey buddy, let's go, man. And he'll say, I ain't getting up today. And I say, oh, you ain't getting up? I was like, well, you either going two places. And let's just say he'll comply.
Mhm.
And then it's to the point now where the inmates got so much respect for me. And not even on because I do this or I do that or I do this. It's just a mutual level of respect when you can't be common in an uncommon world. That's not like say if we all said, hey, let's go out and get drinks. We're all gonna hang out like Josh. You're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. So like if all us meet up in Atlanta downtown, we all get drinks, everything's cool, boom, 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 boom. We all laughing, cutting up, blah, 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 blah. Now say we all get arrested and we go to prison. Now it's a whole different, it's a whole, I'm gonna see a different Josh, I'm gonna see a different Zach. You're gonna see a different Tony. It's just
Mhm.
you can't, it's an uncommon world. That's not the world we're used to, so it's uncommon. So you can't be, I can't be the regular Tony in that environment. It don't work that way. I have to be more aggressive, more direct. I may have to raise my voice more. I may have to be a little more, a little more extra, and I'm okay with that because I understand the system. I didn't make it. is here. It was here long before me, and I mean that's just what it is. And I think a lot of law enforcement don't understand that. You know, you can't. You gotta understand people where they're at. You can't force people to change. You have to understand them where they're at. So regardless of what they are, who they are, what they believe in, this and that, you got to meet them where they're at and respect their decision. How you want to live your life? You want to be a killer? You want to be this? You want to be whatever you want to be? Okay, cool. Now, with that being said, from that point moving forward, if you don't comply, this is what you get. If you comply, this is what you get. If you don't, this is what you get. And I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that. Like I have people, now it's all about 60 days in. People recognize me. Oh, hey, Tony, I love you on the show, this and that. But prior to the show, I'll be out at the mall somewhere and an inmate who I dealt with, had an issue with or whatever the case may be. They'll be like, hey, what's up now? This and that. And it's like, and I just let them know, listen, to be honest, you're protected in the jail. There's cameras all around us.
My body camera's running.
You're protected. You know what I mean? So now on the street, you know, it's a whole nother dynamic. Like you're going to see a whole nother person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about respect. So I always treat people with respect. Like a scenario when Justin and Danielle, when they was fighting in my cell, like how I move is, okay, y'all got in a fight. I asked Justin, you want some more? All right, well, y'all shake hands because when y'all go to sleep, don't nobody need to be sleeping with a shank. Don't nobody need to be, you know, losing those. And that's how you move. That's how men move. Now, boys are little punks. Oh, we're gonna beat you up while you sleep. No, fight me straight up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Give me a straight fade. You know what I mean?
No honor amongst thieves, as they say.
And it's all, Exactly. That
was one of the worst parts for me when I did have to get in scraps. I always hated that when I was in the low security. Like, damn, man, I'm asleep in an open bay right now. This son of a bitch could come up here while I'm asleep. Like, so it's good that you did that, you know, and let them know there wasn't going to be no smoke.
Feeling.
Yeah, dude, you scared to go to sleep, man. You're sitting there like, damn, bro, my guard. I have no choice but to let my guard down, you know, and you don't know if it's cool or not. And
right. Yeah.
I know I'm not going to do nothing to him while he's asleep, but I don't know if he's going to come do something to me while I'm asleep. Shit, you know. So it's good that you had them aware of that, made them make up for it. Dude wouldn't take a bath, bro. I've seen that too,
like
man.
Me,
Dude wouldn't wash his ass. I've seen that too. I saw a dude get the shit beat out of him with a mop whenever I was in county jail because he wouldn't wash his ass. You got to wash your ass in there. They will make you. They're going to wash your ass for you if you don't.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, even like soon as I got in, you know, I'm just letting it be known, like, hey, even with the whole commissary thing, I'm purposely buying $500, $800 store, trying to make myself a target. So it's like not even to say, hey, I want y'all to come rob me, but I'm like, okay, if the robbers in here, y'all see who got the money. So what you gonna do? It's not even to say like, oh, I want the problem, but in a sense, that's like throwing me, like, I know my time is limited in here, so I'm coming in trying to do everything I can. So even with the commissary, I mean, everybody know when you go to jail or you go to prison, you don't want to buy a whole lot of store. You just buy it gradually, you know, not too much. Exactly. So me personally, I mean, I'm in there, I'm observing, I'm watching everybody. Okay, this person, I'm looking at every man in there like, okay, he's possibly a threat. Physically, hand to hand, he's a threat. Now I'm watching the people who the little guys, so I know pound for pound I can beat, but they're not gonna fight, they're stabbing. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, he's a threat hand to hand, but this little guy over here in the corner, the way he's looking, the way he's acting, his body language is telling me he got a shank, he's gonna stab. So I'm really watching him. I can take a punch, I can take a bust eye, broke nose, I can wear that. A stab, a shank to the neck.
It only takes one.
I don't think I want that.
No, it only takes one.
Yeah, I don't want that one. Yeah, I can take a jab or two. Nah, I don't want no shank. Nah.
No, I'm good too. I agree, though.
So
another aspect of,
you know, all aggressive.
I was going to say that another aspect of the danger is also the mental illness, because that was a huge one for me. I get very, very uncomfortable now being around people that don't get their medication, because the feds don't give a shit if you're completely in la-la land off of your medication or not. They don't care at all. They're still getting money for you being in that prison, so they don't give a shit if you're hallucinating or not, you know.
Regardless,
but for those of us that aren't insane, that are dealing with these dudes flicking their ears, standing in the corner saying, stop talking to me and shit like that, like, That's another thing that I always had to watch out for in there, because I've seen those dudes just free pick. Somebody never spoken to them in their life, and they talk and take off and go attack them in their sleep and shit like that, just because they're thrown. So that threat level assessment
and that's
is very
another
real.
thing. I'm happy you brought up the mental health thing. I feel like law enforcement, we're not educated and trained enough for mental health. Like we're trained to stop the threat,
Physically
stop
subdue
the
you.
threat. I mean, exactly. Whatever level you bring legally, I can go one level above that. So if you're coming hand to hand, I can pepper spray you, I can tase you. If you're doing this, I can take it another step above, and you doing this, so forth and so on. But a lot of people here in the Atlanta area, we got a lot of homeless. We got a ton of homeless people,
which means
and a lot of
jail
those
and
homeless
mental
people
illness.
are mental health.
Yeah.
Exactly, and they actually closed down one of the top hospitals here in Atlanta who housed the mental health. So now that's pretty much we get all homeless people and mental health people, and it's like we're not trained. Prior to, I would say, about the first 3 years of me working there, I had no idea how to deal with somebody who's digging in their rectum and pulling it out and waving at me, not being aggressive, not threatening me by any means, just taking their feces and spelling their name, spelling their grandmother's name who passed away. And
y'all laughing, but that shit really happens every single day. That's for real. I know he's telling the truth.
Exactly. And it's like I'm looking at it like, I gotta stop him. Eliminate the threat. He's a threat. Stop him. Like that's how I'm programmed. Stop. Threat. Stop. So, but over the years, it's like, these people don't need hands-on. They don't need physical. Like they don't need to be handcuffed and pepper sprayed. They need, to be honest, they need to be loved. Like shown compassion. Like, hey, I care that you're doing this. It's okay. You're in jail. You're in your cell. You want to play with your feces today? Okay. I don't really want you to, but if you want to play with your feces today, this and this, okay, I'm gonna bring the mental health nurse to come and talk to you, see what the issue is today. Today it could be one issue. Like it's so crazy. I mean, honestly, it's sad. Say like I had this one guy today, it could be because it was raining outside. So he's playing with his feces. And then the next day he could be biting himself, and it's because he didn't get an apple on his tray. Like stuff like that. And it's like, how do you even, like me, I'm looking like, how do I even begin to process that? You know what I mean? It's like,
how do you try to mitigate this?
I'm over here. That's over. Exactly. So how I did, what I did personally, and a couple of my buddies, we actually started talking to the mental health outside of work, trying to get a better understanding of how they think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we can, when a situation happened like that, we're not approaching it with like, force. We're actually approaching the situation
in a way that might improve it.
It's so crazy. Exactly. I mean, I remember one situation where I'm a pretty nice sized guy, and the guy who the mental health guy, he was assaulted, he was molested and all this by another guy. And so what I did was, when I approached him, I literally sat on the floor and made myself as small as possible, just so I wouldn't appear to be a threat. And after that, we was talking. He came out he started talking to me. This guy never talked. He started talking to me. Like he'll come, say like my off days, he'll write me a letter saying, "Oh, I hope you come back. I'm sorry what I said to you, this and that," and just starting developing a relationship with certain people. And honestly, that's what I think it's about. I feel like law enforcement and civilians, there's a major disconnect. And that's because, honestly, I would say, I mean, I can say civilians and law enforcement. It's both. The civilians are scared of the police scared of civilians. And there's nobody's willing to like
seek middle ground and compromise.
And be like, okay, exactly. Everybody's like, civilians like, hey, you're not gonna take my guns. Law enforcement like, yo, you're not gonna grab that gun. And it's like pow, pow, pow. And now we're watching the news, protesting this, that, whatever. And then it's all bad. It's all bad. So me personally, I love law enforcement. In my opinion, to my discretion, when I feel like law enforcement has changed, I'm gonna jump right back in it. But as of now, I disagree 100% with how it's going on both sides, civilian sides and law enforcement. I just choose not to be a part of it. I want to be a part of a solution, not a problem. So
Damn
I
right.
just distance myself from it completely.
Yeah. And I know this
Completely
is a very expansive question, and I don't expect you to cover all your bases here, but if you could overnight change the justice system or law enforcement system in general, what would you do to make it better within the future?
Um, I would me the guy that I am and the name and reputation that I have. People know that I will go rah with you. Like I will take it there with you now. I may be the one to initiate it. So
Mhm.
for me, I would show so much compassion and love towards you. Where if you do me wrong, even if you don't think about like, man, he really did nothing for me to do this to him. I would want someone to just think about it. Like, why do I want to hurt him, or why do I want to bring harm to him?
Yeah.
So in other words, on the law enforcement side, I would more so.
They
And I'm
should
not
be
gonna say
more part of the community in there to
exactly,
help rather than
exactly. If law enforcement say like kids is outside in the street playing basketball,
Yep.
law enforcement is within your job to like within your public service. You can get out of your patrol car and go play basketball with the kids. And now what you're doing is you're doing more than just getting a sweat, getting a little workout because you need it anyway. You're doing more
Yep.
than that. You're
Mhm.
actually building a relationship with kids, and you're planting a seed in these kids' head that okay, this
Not
cop over
everybody's
here
bad.
probably was bad when he arrested my brother, my dad, my mom, whoever, but this cop is not bad. So maybe all cops aren't bad. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
just planting that seed
That little seed can do amazing
that
things,
you
though.
plant that exactly.
Just right now, it
Exactly.
seems like such a huge barrier between civilians and law
Yes,
enforcement.
yes.
Whether they should be working together in order to
Exactly.
better
Even
their
in small
Exactly.
community.
communities too. It doesn't matter
Exactly.
the size of the community either. It could be something as small as like 10, 15,000 people. And it's still, there's such a disconnect in between the police and civilians and even prisoners. It's like a triforce of like, what the fuck are we going to do with all three of them? Because none of the three are going to get along. You got prisoners who civilians don't want to deal with, and people that are running the jails don't want to deal with. They just want to receive the check for them being there. And then you have the police who are afraid
Exactly.
of both of them because
Yeah.
who the hell knows what a civilian's going to do, and who the hell knows what a prisoner is going to do, and then
Right.
the prisoner is afraid of everybody because what the fuck's going to happen? You look at me differently because I have felony in front of my name or something like that, then you're
Right.
treated differently. And it's weird because
Right.
people don't genuinely look at people as an individual basis. Everybody wants to just overarch you and stereotype you depending on what you are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just because Josh has a felony to his
Right.
name doesn't mean he's a shitty fucking person.
I
Doesn't
try
mean
not to
he's
be.
an idiot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of
Right.
people that have felonies that are fucking assholes and are fucking idiots. It's just
It's the
Right.
same
so
thing that it boils down to for me with everything in life, which is that there's good and bad in everybody. Let's try to find the middle ground,
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
you know? And
Right.
I wish that
Right.
everybody would see it that way with law enforcement as well, because everybody thinks that because I'm an ex-convict, everybody assumes for me to be all over here like, hey, fuck cops, down with the system and all this shit. And I'm really not, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have criticisms and it needs
See,
to be a lot
and
better.
you
But I'm not
yeah.
anti-cop.
And see like right. See, like people like you. See, I would love to like pick your brain and talk to you like years to come and stay in contact with you because
Sure.
the way you process stuff, the way because you've been through a situation. Say like the average person would take your situation like say like you got convicted, you was found guilty, you was convicted for however many years. Like you have all the reasons to be F the police, screw them, this and that, but you took a different approach to it. So
Big time.
now with that being said, like the fact that you have enough sense, you have your upbringing is something in you that's special because you're different from the rest, whoever else, other people. There's something special about you where you took a different approach, and I think people like you should be the voice of. So when someone say "f the police," is like, why you say "f the police"? I mean, if you think about it. To be honest, I would say, well, I'm gonna share a situation with y'all here in a little bit, but I would say probably 65% of the time when somebody get locked up or convicted, they probably did something similar. I'm not gonna say they did it 100% because it's always, if me and you together, I shoot somebody, you're gonna be charged for murder too. I'm
Right.
not, there's different,
But involved
there's
in it
gray
to some
areas.
degree, at
But
least.
however,
You're knowledgeable.
exactly. So 65 to 70% of the time, probably even 80, I'll say you more than likely you're guilty of what they say you did. So with that being said, the issue is, are you saying F the cops because you got caught, or are you saying F the cops because you got screwed? There's a big difference.
Damn right, exactly.
It's a huge difference.
You can't sell crack and then say fuck the cops when you get arrested for selling crack. You know, it doesn't work like that. You did that. You knew it was illegal, bro. That ain't the cops. That's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my best friend's brother a few years ago got arrested for murder. Like, kid I grew up with, that was like the homie that fucking sat there and took care of me when I broke my arm, literally was arrested for murder. Somebody that I would have like trusted with my life, and if I still lived in that city, my kids, my family, and would have been integrated. It's weird to know that like he's sitting in fucking Fed.
It's almost like the flip side of it. Whereas there's good people and criminals, sometimes there's criminals and good people, you know?
Yeah, it's weird.
Right,
it's honestly weird because that's how I grew up too, was like, fuck the cops. Who gives a fuck? There's going to be some troopers that are super nice, but there's a lot of them that are bad.
Yep. And unfortunately, that seems to be the majority of sentiment nowadays, just fuck the cops because of all the corruption and everything that's happened. Like, I used to do political journalism, so I was on the George Floyd riots. I was in a ton of protests during in Chicago, and like the majority of sentiment from people are they're the enemy rather than they're there to help us.
Yep.
Yeah. Like for example, so I'm 34 years old, black male, and where I'm from, there's no black sheriff deputies. There's no black sheriff deputies. There's only one black police officer out of the whole county, and the county is probably it's a huge county, country town. Everybody got land type deal, and so my cousin, it's crazy because actually going on right now. I went home, I would say about 6 months ago. Came home, nice car. I'm a country boy. I'm a gun fanatic. Got all kind of guns. So when I go home, me and my brothers, my dad, we all get up, shoot a couple rounds, shooting all different guns. They may brought some new guns. I may got some new ones. We all shooting them, trying them out. When I get pulled over, and this cop said, in my hometown, and mind you, the sheriff in my hometown, he been trying to recruit me for the last 5 years, ever since I've been here in Georgia.
Yes.
And great guy. When I tell you great guy, I could call him right now, add him to the call. He gonna talk shit with us. But I get pulled over by this one deputy, and I mean, he treated me like straight shit, right? So he said, why you got all these guns in here? So I said, he pulled me over. He said, why you got all the guns? I said, well, it's not illegal to have guns. I got guns because I love guns. I'm a gun guy. I like guns. He was like, okay. He said, I smell weed. So I know he don't smell no weed.
Nah.
I'm like, oh, you do? I was like, okay. I was like, so what you gonna do? He was like, you give me permission to search the car? I said, absolutely not. I said, why do you want to search my car? He said, I smell weed, and
not supposed to be a reason.
I said, so I know the law a little bit myself. So I asked him, I said, why? I said, why? So I'm a straight shooter. I said, I'm gonna tell you why you pulled me over. I said, because I got Georgia tags, I'm black, and I'm in a black community. That's why you pulled me over. And you think I'm bringing drugs. He was like, well, this is my county, and you do got out-of-state tags, and you are black. So I respect, I don't like what he said, but I respect the fact he was honest. I can respect that. So I told him, I said, with that being said, you're not searching my car. You're not taking my guns. In fact, you haven't even told me a reason why you pulled me over yet. He said, I did. You got out-of-state tags. And it just blew my mind that he was that blunt with it.
He was honest about it, at least.
You do know that's not a reason, right?
Yeah.
And so I said all that to say, he pulled me over. So he actually, my cousin, I got a cousin. He just came out of prison for like I think he did like 10 years straight out of high school. I think he went to prison, and he got out maybe like 5 years ago, and for drugs. And he told him, he said, "Hey, I had this. You're not gonna put this on me." I mean, my family, we come from a place where when you do something, you own it. If I do something, I'm gonna say, "Hey, when you catch me in it, yeah, I did this, and now I can move better. I can have a clearer conscience. I can think better." And that's how my cousin is as well. And that same cop, he pulled him over, and he planted drugs on him, and it was just crazy because I filed the complaint on him, and then this happened, and then it's crazy. Y'all can look it up. Is probably, I want to say, like 3 or 4 deputies had to resign. 2 of them was already doing federal time, and he's on the chopping block next. And it's just crazy. So in other words, all his cases up in like 3 years ago, drug cases, charges, they're going to be dismissed. And it's just crazy. So and that's why I made the comment earlier, when you say F the police, on what grounds are you saying F the police? Are you saying F the police because your dad got sent down the road for 20 years because he's been selling dope for 30 years and he should be in jail? Or are you saying it because, you was wrongfully, you know what I mean? So it's a reason why you're saying it. It's a valid reason. It should be a valid reason for you to say F the police. So however you feel,
I agree. I agree that it's a valid statement to make if you can back it up. It's a valid thought to have if you know what you're talking about. And I agree with you entirely in that a lot of that comes down to owning up to it. It's straight up exactly like you just said, because I'll say this, as far as like being wrong by the system, being fuck the cops and fuck the feds and all that, if they would have let me out 2 years into my sentence, I would have 100% been that guy. I was hot for my first 2 years. I was in there, I was doing drugs and I was fighting and I was young and I was stupid. And I just thought I was tough shit and couldn't nobody tell me nothing. And I was done wrongly and it was eating me up, and I was just acting accordingly. And a lot of people know that there was that point like 2.5 years into my prison sentence where I was sitting in my cell by my damn self. And I started thinking about how, man, life already sucked before I got locked up, and now I'm a felon, and now they're really holding me back. And I was like, or are they holding me back? Who was holding me back before? Why couldn't I get a job? Why didn't I get a job? Because I kept saying stuff like, oh, I need help. I can't get a job without a car. I need a car to get a job. And I was just sitting there blaming everybody for my shit. Wait a minute. I'm doing that right now. I'm blaming the feds for my shit. Damn, man. I mean, I did make a threat against the school. So a lot of people think that my position is that I should be allowed to say whatever I want. And they think that my entire internet notoriety is bullshit because I'm saying, oh no, I shouldn't get in trouble. That's not what I ever said. I've never said that. Raiding my house? Hell yeah, bro. Come on with it. I said I was about to murder people. I would rather them come tear up my shit and be wrong than, give me the benefit of doubt and some kids die. Exactly. I'm cool with that, bro. I did that. I said it. Come tear my shit up. Arrest me, man. I made the threats. Cool. We need some probation. We need some jail. My life needs it. That's fine. Them fuckers sent me to prison for 6 years, bro. That's my position, is overkill. Yeah, I deserve punishment. Yeah, I made a mistake. See, I had a debt to society. I get that. It's the overkill. And I'm still not over here screaming, fuck the cops. Fuck the corrupt feds up there at the top that are racist pieces of shit that are all about their political agendas and getting kids like me and the young black kids off the street they're so fucking worried about. I'm sorry, man. You'll go get me a whole nother thing here in a minute. But I'm not saying fuck the cops. And my case was stupid. My case was fucking ignorant. I promise you, out of everybody that I've ever heard say fuck the cops, I've probably got a much better reason to say it than them. I don't care if their best friend's new neighbor's baby's mailman got patted down the other day on Main Street. You know what I'm saying? I went to the prison for 6 years. And I'm not saying fuck the cops. It is a very important part of a society, in my opinion, to know that there are bounds. And of course, anarchists would disagree with this and stuff like that. I know that there are other positions to have. But another thing that I want to talk about that, with Tony talking about how we need to approach things with compassion, and his training being brute force. That's not his fault. That's another thing that's the higher ups that rains down into the system and makes it worse, because Tony can't make no program to teach mental health to his fellow COs. He's not in charge of the program. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't develop this shit. But that's a working solution. However, it will cost them way more money, way more resources. You know what I mean? It'll cost them time that they don't have. And with his approach, maybe this guy won't come back to jail. And we don't want that. We definitely don't want people to not come back to jail. We're not going to make any money if they come back.
Well, the shitty thing is, you need both. Sorry, Myth. but you need both. You need to be able to do brute force, but you also need to be able to show compassion.
Of course.
And
it's the yin yang.
when every single cop, not every single cop, but there's cops in every single branch that are 80 to 150 pounds overweight, ate 6 donuts yesterday, and can't get out of their cruiser or can't get off their desk, and has to use brute force in every single circumstance that they try and do, and they just throw their weight around. It's like the volunteer firefighter argument. Yes, you volunteered. Yes, I'm fucking happy that you did so. But at the same time, we need the people that can actually do the job to do the job.
Fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point.
If you're 100-pound overweight male or female and you can't really do the fucking job, don't apply for the job. Just because it's an easy job to do, in your opinion, doesn't mean that it's the right job for you.
Yeah.
I know personally, I'm not getting in fights anymore. I have a fucking neck injury. If I got into a fight, there's a chance I could die. Somebody chokes me out, I'm dead.
Because you don't have that extra muscle to protect it, right?
Exactly. My carotid artery is fucking wide open, and if you really felt like killing me, you probably could.
So, Zach, you want to go on 60 days in?
Hey,
50K.
50K, let's go.
Hey, I got your back.
Hey,
Exactly. I got Big Tony. I'm good.
If you're in there with Tony, you're solid, man.
I got
You're good.
all the ramen I want, and I got Big Tony hanging out behind me.
The shoes won't fit though, because you got them 18s or whatever you're rocking over there, man.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to wear some.
He's not gonna find any street
all
shoes.
fucking day. We'll be okay.
Oh, and another thing also, if you guys hear me talking, by the way, Tony, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I got a notepad up, and in case I have a train of thought or something I want to ask you, so I'll just type it because I'm burnt. And another thing I was going to say about that, owning up to it, taking responsibility, and also Tony's approach that he mentioned of being more aware of mental health. That's something that I never thought about, but is obvious that they're not trained for mental health. We know that. I'd never considered it, but it's obvious because I've seen what he's talking about. When somebody's losing it, they don't know anything but to tackle them. And it's not, that's not Tony's fault. That's what he's trained to do. He just said it. He said, I'm trained to do that. That means he's doing his job correctly the way that he was told to do it. But when you meet him with compassion and stuff like that, how about, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, man, America, we've got 1/4 of the world's prisoners. We have 1/33 of the world's population, but we've got 1/4 of the world's prisoners. So we're either an inherently evil country, because that doesn't make any fucking sense. Most people's population reflects in their incarceration percentage. It's close. We're not even close. So either we're an inherently evil country, which I don't believe at all, personally, or there's something wrong with the prosecution system. Now, you look at our prisons here in America. Look what Tony was dealing with. When he went in there, they dumped a damn knife straight in front of him. You know what I mean? And he's a CO, and he's seen that before. We're dealing with knives. We're dealing with child molesters, gang violence, some of the gnarliest conditions in prisons for a first world country imaginable, with the longest sentences as well. Now, you look at a country like Sweden. They've got balanced diets. They got their own personal video games, their own room, not a cell. They get a room. Most of them get to go home on weekends, and it still counts for their time, and they get their sentence off. 91 to 92% of men in America either have been before, will be back, or have been twice. I'm one of those. I've been twice because I fucked up, smoked weed. Recidivism, 90+% at the lowest estimate. In Sweden, where you go to daycare for a year, they got like a 2%, like 12% recidivism. Nobody goes back. What? That doesn't make any sense. How does that make sense that their prisons are so nice and so cushy and so chill, and they still can't stand them and won't go back? But with us here in America, with these raunchy prisons, we all just keep coming back. We ain't addicted to it. I promise you that. Some people are, I guess, but the system's designed for you to fail, man. The system's set up to once you get caught in it, and that's one of the issues that needs to be talked about, because the system can work. It works in other countries. The way we're doing it sucks. Cops aren't bad people, of course. Anytime you give humans power, when humans get power, bro, shit's going to go wrong. It's been proven time and time throughout history. You give a human power, we're human.
Absolute
we're
power corrupts absolutely.
Exactly. And I understand that. And there's a lot of discussions that need to be had about addressing that. But compassion, in my opinion, is the biggest one. The fact that Tony said that hits the nail right on the head, man, because inmates treating COs treating inmates like animals makes us treat them like animals. And it just gets ugly, and it never gets any better. And there's no respect. There's no trust. And I'm pretty sure that from the inmate training, they probably told you things, don't ever turn your back on us. Don't trust anything we say. We're going to, beg you and try to get anything from you, anything, a little ounce per mile. And a lot of inmates are like that. But setting it up that way, they're animals. Don't trust them. They're not human. It's just a fucking bad start, in my opinion,
Yep.
And again, I would like to also say, Tony, I'm not blaming you for anything, man. I really appreciate and respect your perspective on this, by the way. I know that you're more of a problem, part of the solution than the problem. I'm just ranting about the guys way up above you.
Yeah.
that are the dicks.
Yeah, no, I like the way you think. I like the way you think. I like the way you think.
Compassion is the way to go, man. Almost everywhere in life. And you know what's funny, man? I meant to mention this earlier. You know, you said that thing about owning up to it and being about it if you say it. You said that thing about how the sheriff said he's going to do this and he's going to sign this and this. Be about it. Something funny, man. I learned that lesson in prison, that the world would be so much of a better place if two men could shake fucking hands, look each other in the eyes, and say they're going to do something and just do it.
Exactly.
How simple would that be, bro?
Right,
If people just had honor about themselves. You
Yeah.
shake a man's hand, you tell him you're going to do something.
Right.
Imagine starting a business partnership with somebody, man, and you just trust the guy. How great would that be? We don't have to sign these contracts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Zach, we never signed a
Right,
contract.
right.
But you don't, you know, nowadays you have to be like, man, I've known this dude for 30 years, but we're signing these contracts and we're doing this and this. I don't know, man.
My heart hurts. You're
Standing up to and doing what you said and being about it when you said you were going to be about it would have stopped so much violence in prison that it's not even funny, man. Compassion on the part of the COs and doing what you say you're going to do. Basically, the things that I would personally refer to as being a man, although of course women can do it too, is just how you make it. It's pretty simple. It's kind of a recurring theme. It's almost like if you act exactly the same in the free world, it would make prison better too.
Oh,
Big Tony
bye,
disconnected.
And like you were saying with the mental illness, I don't even think we have proper training at any level for mental illness. Because like my mom is a para at a special needs school, and it's like anywhere from like up to 21-year-olds down to like 10-year-olds, and she works at like a in one of the higher classrooms, and like they still practice, you know, obviously because of the problems they have to deal with them either hurting themselves or others, and they do have to do restraints and things like that. But a big part that is missing is like the therapy, and like every time that they come in, like helping them figuring out what they can do to make it better. And
Brute force alone doesn't help. I see what you're saying.
Nope, it doesn't.
There has to be a therapeutic aspect to it.
Yep.
The crazy thing is my wife works in nursing and everything else with special needs patients, and like her head was bashed into a car door today. She was punched in the mouth, and
holy shit!
It's like you're taught just to take it and move on. It's like, how do you 100% have to show compassion. You have to 100% understand and see where the hell everything's going. But also at the same time, you have to realize what's going on in front of you too, and what you're dealing with and what the perspective is. And I think that's the scary part of just going completely everything into compassion, because you do have those assholes. You do have those pieces.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely.
And it's very hard for, like you said, those people at top to write those, like they can write protocols for people causing violence. Like Tony was saying, you can go one step above what they are threatening. But for things that are more subtle and just take knowing the situation and very nuanced, it's hard to decide what to do there and write a protocol for that or training. And they're not in there first person to experience it. So how are they supposed to know?
And how is violence done on yourself different than violence done on somebody else?
That's
is
another
me
thing
hanging
that they have to
myself
stop.
or hurting myself?
Yep.
You're allowed to go one level higher than that.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Kill you faster and
Kill
then
me
break your
faster?
leg. They're going to kill you and then they're going to break your arm.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to
feeding a
fucking-
dead horse.
What's his face?
By the way, did his
That's
phone
how
die?
Epstein
Did you
killed
message him?
himself. What?
Did Tony's phone die? Is that what happened?
I messaged him. I don't know what happened. I assume probably his phone
something
died.
like that.
I figured his phone died. I was just thinking that a minute ago. I was like, I wonder if he plugged his phone up to a chart. Nope.
That's what I assumed. I sent him. All you have to do is just re-click the link and you can rejoin.
Yep.
He'll
Cloudy
probably
sent
rejoin
me
here in a
this
second.
NPR article of
I
an
looked at
Alabama sheriff who legally took $750,000 meant to feed inmates and bought a beach house.
Legally, huh?
Apparently, he moved
It was
the
his
funds
bonus.
around. And this is a common thing done in politics, is rediversifying funds in order to feed it into your own pocket. And as this article says, it's also done in prison systems in order to buy the sheriff a beach house.
It's making me sick, dude. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. That dude, that dude has a beach house because of people locking people up.
Yep. And I've heard horror stories of prison food, just like moldy old food from like Desert Storm being served.
Yeah, see, it works a little differently in the Fed. So just from skimming that article, the way that it seems to be, it says that he had $750,000 for his food budget, right? And since it was unspent, he got to keep it. Well, the way that it works in the feds is whatever you don't spend, they reduce your budget by that much next month or the next quarter, rather. So if they gave him a $750,000 food budget and he only spent $700,000, next quarter, he's only going to get $700,000. So they intentionally inflate and overbuy things. And then, as was proven to be part of the COs that are corrupt at the low security prison I went to, they siphon that money straight into their bank account. Welcome back, Tony.
Yes, it's just my phone has died.
Whoa.
Oh, your microphone is.
Yeah,
That
your
mic is on the
microphone
fritz.
is
Your
horrible.
robot.
How did that?
You can't.
It's
you're a
very
robot.
distorted.
Yeah, you might need to disconnect and reconnect them.
That was almost sound like a YouTube.
But yeah, that's the difference between the federal government, which has restrictions like that, and like the state government is they don't do things like that. It's all for profit at the state level, rather than at the feds. It's a federal.
Well, apparently what they do is they'll spend all the money and then just take the shit. Because I remember the kitchen guy bought like a couple of washing machines and just ended up smuggling out the back, and he was on the news. We back, Tony?
Yes. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there we
So
go. I
much
think
better.
there's a slight delay, but the sound is good.
Okay.
Where were we at whenever I'm guessing your phone died? What were we talking about right before that? I think I went on a big ass rant about recidivism rate and how even though our prisons suck, we just love them and keep going back. Oh, I actually did have another question.
I was talking about compassion.
Yes, compassion being the one thing that is big missing. Myth was telling us a moment ago about Myth. Would you like to relay that about what you were saying?
So we pulled up an article that had a Alabama sheriff who took funds $750,000 to buy a beach house instead of feeding his inmates.
It was the budget for the inmates' food, and Alabama law apparently dictates that extra funds may be taken personally. So he spent $0.00 on the food fund and bought a beach house with it, which is great. We were just talking. I was like, look at this. This dude has a beach house built off of the backs of incarcerated people. Like literally, he has a beach house because of people being locked up. Yeah. When you mentioned earlier, if you could change one thing about prison, I was going to say that privatization, I think, would be a huge step.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That was he's one of the guys who, when people say "F the police," I ought to be like, "Yeah, I understand what you're saying."
That's the example,
so,
right?
So earlier, I don't want people to be like, "Oh, you're just being sweet on the police because this and that." No, I'm fair, 100%. You know, if you're wrong, I don't care what side you're on, you're wrong. You need to be held accountable. So like with that guy, man, like, man, that's like pretty much what you just said. Like the food budget was $1 million, and he took 900,000 of it, and what he actually did was he used 100,000 to buy a trailer, and he put on his property, and he bought these nice ovens and all that to cook rice and mashed potatoes and all that to feed the inmates for the year. So he pretty much, after he bought a single wide trailer and equipped it with these fryers so they can cook food, boil rice in bulk, the rest of the funds he brought the food of rest of the 100,000, and he used 900,000. And in Florida he built the penthouse, he bought a motorcycle and some more stuff. And Alabama law, that's legal, he can do that. So it's pretty much, a sheriff, and that's pretty much in most of the southern states, to be honest. It's like the sheriff, he's an elected official, meaning you voted for him, I voted for him, we all voted for him, but we're entrusting he's going to do the right thing. So pretty much, if the sheriff want to wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I want to give my chief jailer a $50,000 raise, he can do that. If he want to give his lieutenant colonel a $30,000 raise, he can do that. But most sheriffs are gonna do it, reasonable. You know what I mean?
Right,
he's not just gonna, piss the money away. You know what I mean?
They're gonna be too flagrant with the corruption.
Alabama rewrote their law. Exactly.
And I think that's what we've been touching on all
and
night.
that was part of the reason.
Is the profit motive for these prisons is completely backwards. Like they get money for you coming back. They want you to come back. And it's not recidivism. Like the profit motive is completely opposite of what is beneficial towards these people who are coming in.
Yep. And it distorts all the numbers and makes it look like we're a country full of psychopaths. Because so many people are locked up.
Big business.
Huge money, man. Whenever I would transfer between federal
Yeah,
joints, they will stick you at a joint for one night so you can sleep there, and they get the money for that. They'll just stick you in some random city for a night, so you sleep there, they get the money, and then they wake you up at 5:30 in the morning and send you on your way. Crazy. Just everywhere you sleep, they get money.
I want to say for the regular inmates at my facility, we get like $89 or $100 per inmate per night. And I want to say it's 135 or 150 for CPOs, pretty much convicted felons, convicted inmates who come back to the county to fight their charges. So in other words, I mean, we had people, we had inmates. Oh man, I mean,
no,
no,
man, come on, you get more money.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really bad news, bro. That's really bad.
Yeah, you get more money for convicted felons. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, that's
absolutely
insane.
100%. I would probably.
And nobody ever thought that might be corrupt. Nobody ever thought that that's fucked up. Wow.
I mean, nobody wants to fix it because we have all of these people who push for it to stay in place so they can keep making money.
Yep. And nobody wants to be the guy to raise a flag that says, hey, let's be nicer to criminals. Nobody wants to address this. You know what I mean? It's a hard standard to raise. Like, hey, I'm the guy who's saying you guys are being mean to bad guys. Like, who wants to raise that flag, you know? It's a tough one. It's a tough standard to bear.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, bigger than that. I mean, it's business. It's money. You know, is honestly, I don't at this point with it happening so many years and decades on decades. It's like I don't even see it being about that. I see it more so. It's a business. It's strictly about money. It's strictly a business. I mean, for me personally, I look at it like it's like when you go to certain counties, say like Fulton County is majority black. So it makes sense for more black people to be in Fulton County jail. But say like in my county where I'm from, it's more white people, but it's more black people incarcerated.
Exactly.
To me, that don't make sense.
Exactly. And that right there statistically proves racism. It's in the system. And I'm just saying, there's a lot of people right now that are about to be mad at me. A lot of white people about to be pissed off at me. I don't give a shit. The system's racist. And if you deny it, you're ignoring statistics. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. Said it. My bad. Right. My bad. You got me fired up on that because I've seen it. And I've watched so many homies go down for some shit that was weaker than what I did and get more time than me, man. I'm sorry. It bothers me.
And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. I mean, it's nothing new. It didn't just happen yesterday. You know, we can choose to ignore it because it's not happening in our household or directly with us or this or that. I mean, but it's reality. So when somebody say that, so when I make the comment about, you know, why are you saying F the police? And when you speak on reasons like that, it's like, yeah, I understand why you're saying it 100%. I totally get it. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like when I say certain stuff or when I make certain comments or speak on certain stuff that I really don't speak on a lot of political stuff just because I'm not going to side with someone just because we got the same uniform on or we the same color or we this or we've been cool for 20 years. That means nothing. If you ask me my opinion, I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, I'm gonna give it to you. We can talk about it. But you know, and I feel like that's why when I do post certain stuff or when I do say certain stuff, I get a large response because, you know, people, they know I'm a real person. You know, I'm not just, people know me as law enforcement, this and this, this and this. And it's crazy because like my family who know me like back home and here, they're like, man, like, yeah, you the police or you law enforcement. But like, man, like these, if they knew the real Tony, meaning like, I like to joke, cut up, have fun, act the fool. Always like people look at me and say, like I had this one comment that was like, man, you're never smiling. You're a dick. You're always uptight. You're always, to myself and my friends and family. They're like, yeah, they really don't know Tony. Like I went to Planet. I went to, what was that, Planet Smoothie the other day, And the lady behind the counter, she recognized me. She said, "F you, you a snitch, you a sellout, you this, you a dick, and this and that." I was like, "Lady, you act like you know me for real. You know, like you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know me. You know Tony. You know the TV Tony. You
Exactly.
don't know me. Like
Get out my
what do you
business,
mean I'm a
woman.
sellout? Like if you really, yeah, it's like you don't know the whole protesting thing. You really don't know what's going on. So
Right,
just, you
yeah.
know what I mean? Just
I'd
hold it.
also like to point
You know,
out,
you got to move a certain way.
I never heard anybody
Mhm.
call a cop a snitch before, man. If you were a CO, well, not cop, you know what I mean, but a CO, how you going? He's a CO that went into a
Yeah.
jail. How you gonna call him a snitch? He's a CO. He
Yeah.
works there, bro. That ain't how it works. A snitch is a
See,
criminal,
right.
you know.
So people look at it because I'm black, I'm younger, I'm hip, I know what's going on. I acknowledge what's really going on in the world, and I respect what's going on in the world. Not to say I like it, just because I respect it don't mean I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Meaning, when I say if someone is a drug dealer, I respect the fact that you're a drug dealer, because what you're doing, or say someone's a murderer, I can acknowledge, and I'm gonna deal with you accordingly. I'm not gonna for a second take you as a joke just because we disagree, or you're doing something that I don't approve of. I'm gonna respect the fact whatever you're doing, you do whatever you got to do. That's
Exactly.
on you.
Everybody
Now,
trying
when
to
it's
make
time to pay the piper, it's time to pay the piper. It's
Yeah.
you know when like I tell my cousin all the time, yo, you just now got locked up. You've been doing X, Y, and Z for the last 15 years, and you just now got locked up, and you got 5 years, and you complaining. Like
I'm
if you
telling you.
really got locked, if you really got convicted
I
on
know.
everything you did, you would never see the daylight again. So like, let's be real. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're doing is
Gratitude.
wrong. Just that's what it is. Yeah, and that's it.
It sounds
It's
fucked
not,
up, but it's
it's not
real
to
though. I
say,
mean,
hey, yeah, that's real. You know, people don't understand that. Like people say, Tony, you act like you never smoked weed. Actually, I don't smoke weed. Like, I come from a 2-parent household. When I turned 16, I got a new car. Like, I went to college. Like, none of that crazy. Like, when I was raised, like it's crazy. Like, people will say stuff like, "Oh, he must have been a criminal and straightened his life up and got on the right track." No, I never skipped school in high school or middle school. I never smoked weed. I waited to have sex till I was 18. I got a brand new car at 16. I went to college. I graduated. Like, boom, 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 boom. There's nothing about my life that says you can't look at me and say, "Oh, if you look at me, you'll be like, oh, Tony, the way you act on 60 Days In, you must know the gangsters. You must know." No, I
okay. I
know,
was
like,
really
this
confused
is
about why they thought this about you, and then you said that, and I get it now. Yeah, because you were so good in your role that they assumed you must
Yeah.
know the world. Yeah, yeah.
right, exactly. And they're like, "Oh, you had to, you must have done this." And I was like, "No, I'm a real man who when I say something, I mean what I tell you. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? If I tell you I'm gonna do this, I'm going to do it. If I tell you I'm gonna do that, I'm going to do it. I don't need an audience behind me to do the right thing. I'm gonna do the right
Yeah.
thing when just I'm looking. I don't, you know what I mean? And
Exactly.
to me, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that people, how shallow-minded some people are. Even when I went in there and I took the guy's money, the $50,
Yeah.
and people was like, "Oh my gosh, you're a thief! You robbed him, this and that." But what they don't realize is, for one, that really happened in jail. The whole point of me doing that was to show you're not supposed to have cash in intake. You're not supposed to be in the holding cell with cash. You're supposed to put that on your books before you even get in there.
You
So
talking
you
about that
can't
idiot
get
in the
robbed.
beginning that
And
had the $40 and fell out of his pocket, and he started saying they stole it or whatever? That guy?
no, not that one. The older white guy, he had like $1,500.
Oh,
Oh.
shit. Oh, okay. I missed this
He
one. I was about to say, I was like, I didn't
he
think you took that guy's money.
yeah he yeah no he this older white guy, he had like $1,500. So clearly he's like an older guy. Just, I could have took all his money. Like, the
Yeah.
whole point, like, people miss the message. Like, so I purposely took $50, and like I took $50. The whole point of me doing that was to show that, hey, the COs is not supposed to let you in the intake in the holding cell with other inmates with all this money, especially you're in here. This is jail politics. You're here with a whole lot of black people. You're an older white guy who, if I want to take all your money, I can do that, and there's nobody here to stop me. So what I'm trying, my message, what I was trying to get to deliver to the COs was like, hey, you know, if you eliminate this guy, regardless of the race, if he's older, white, older, black, if you eliminate the money altogether, you
There's
won't
no
have this
problem.
issue.
There's no issue to begin
Yeah.
with.
Exactly. And for the record, too, I did take his money, $50, but I actually gave him like, his bond was like $2,700 or $2,500, something like that. I actually paid his bond for him to get out of jail. So for the record, I gave him his money back and some. So,
And I bet you
know
any
what I
day of the
mean?
week, if you
But,
call that motherfucker right now and ask if it was worth it, he'd say, I'll do it again any day of the week. He'd say, tell Tony to rob me every time he sees me, please.
Yep. And you know what's funny? So did y'all see the part where Chad, he went behind the CO's desk and got the crossword puzzle book,
Yep.
and he got sent to
Yeah.
the hole? So so apparently he messaged me on Facebook like maybe 2 years ago, like right after the show or a year ago, whatever. And I just now seen it like 3 days ago, and I responded, and we've been talking ever since. I mean, he's doing good. He's I forgot exactly what he's doing, but we cool. Like Justin, the one who got in the fight. Justin, the one who got in the fight with Danielle, the guy who was stinking.
Mhm.
He actually we tried to set it up. I got some trees in the yard at one of my houses that I'm trying to get cut down, and I'm trying to get him out here to cut the trees down. I mean, so there's not even like it's oh, Tony, this and that. When I see you, I'm gonna do this. Like the people who I actually made a real connection with,
Yep.
like we're in contact. Like
Yeah.
people like O'Shea, like I don't like his lifestyle and my lifestyle. Like say like Chad and Justin lifestyle. Yeah, our lifestyles are different. They do what they do, they little habits, this and
Yep.
that, blah blah blah. But the difference between them, for me, the difference is like they want to do better. O'Shea, he's still in the streets.
Right.
He haven't matured yet. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna waste my time with him. But like who was it? It was Chad, Justin, even Danielle. Danielle, he wanted to do better, but the drugs got a strong hold on him. And I just been working with him and dealing with him, trying to get him some assistance. Just all kinds of different stuff. Like if you want help, and like even if you got addiction and you want help, I mean the help is out there. I'm not gonna say it's grade A and this and that. I mean, but if you want the help, there's people out here who really care. Like you'll be surprised who really care if you open your mouth, or if you show steps to healing or changing. Like I mean, when I talked to Chad, I mean Justin. And like when Justin and I was talking, we was talking about his kids, and he was getting upset and crying. Like that was a real moment for me. Like I wasn't faking. Like that was real.
Exactly.
I felt this man pain. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, dang, bro, your old lady, y'all just had a baby. Your old lady, y'all at each other's face. You locked up. You can't do nothing for her. She was already saying, you wasn't providing and this, and now you're in here. Now you're not providing. It's like my heart. Like I want to just, man, what's your old lady cash out? just. Hey, babe,
Exactly.
send them this. You know what I mean? Just you know
I'm like
what I mean?
that too.
And
Big heart,
so
man.
you'll be surprised who, man. And people, and it's funny because a whole lot of like real moments. I call those real moments on the show. Like a whole lot of real moments took place that didn't make the cut, and I'm just like, why?
They don't want to show too much humanity.
Good,
they don't want everybody thinking inmates might be normal people. You know what I'm saying? They don't.
That's a big part that I was going to ask. How relatable to the actual reality of the situation does the show dictate, or basically show to the people just watching, the viewers?
Do they do a good job of capturing a good picture of what went down, do you think?
Yes. I can't even lie. They do. I mean, I don't have any issues with that. I mean, they edit stuff for sure. It's TV.
You've already
so
talked
they gotta
about
spice it up.
not making.
Like I'll give you an example. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. Like say like when Danielle and Justin was fighting in the cell. Like when I'm sitting on the table, I want to say I had my orange shirt on or across my shoulder, and then that same clip, like seconds later, you'll see me close the door, and now it's either on me or it's not on me. Like they edit that to make it seem like I'm closing the door. You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But what really happened, it really happened. But they'll spice it up a little bit with little stuff like that.
Make it faster
but
paced
as far
editing.
as right. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I was cool with everything. Like I told him from the jump, if I do it, put it out there. If I do it, I mean, if I said it, put it out there. If I said it once, I said it again. You know what I mean? That's
the philosophy
me,
you live by. You said that earlier about
yeah.
if you say it, be about it.
Yeah.
What was something that you want to
yeah.
change from session 1, and was it changed from session 2?
Season?
Yeah, it was like times that he went in. So he went in for 60 days
session.
originally.
That's what I was confused about.
Yeah, and then he went back for a second session of being in jail.
Yeah. So like phase 1 versus phase 2. I would say, man, like, to be honest, from the first time I went into the second time, the COs did get better. Like they're even how they deal with the inmates, they got better. But it was so bad. Like even though they got better,
better than bad ain't
bad.
good.
You know what I mean?
I say that every day.
Like,
better than bad don't mean
yeah,
good.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think only one dog, and I always say I'm gonna remember his name when I do my interviews and just give him a shout out. The one guy, the white guy's like kind of short. He was on the side team. What is his? I think his name was like Sneed or something like that. But he's probably the only guy, the only CO at that facility who could work at my jail. And I mean, anybody can go there and get a job and work on 1 North with the trustees or, you know, work in the office and stuff. Anybody can do that. But as far as working the floors, he's the only CO that I encounter that could work there. The females who I encounter, definitely not. The other guy, definitely not. No. He's the only guy. The guys who come in with the paintballs when there's a little rowdy. Not the heavy. Yeah. Not the heavy set guy, but the shorter one. He's the only one who could work at my jail and just roll with us and just keep it rolling.
Yep.
Not miss a beat. Everybody else, they're gonna be timid. They're gonna freeze up when they see a stabbing or they see a hanging. They're gonna freeze up when they got to cut the body down or do CPR. Like I don't see. I mean, I can read people. I can look you in your face and tell you if you really want to fight me or if you really. You know, if you're really going to do what you say you're going to do, and your body language, your demeanor, if you break eye contact, if you talking with your hands, now you're nervous. Like there's a whole lot to it. And no, but he's the only one. He's the only one who could actually. I would feel comfortable working beside him. I will go in a riot with him and feel, let's get it. You know what I mean? But anybody else, no. But the answer to your question, I would say the COs definitely got better though. I mean, from phase 1 to phase 2, the sheriff, he definitely, I don't know what he did, but their mindset from the first phase to the second phase was different. They got like new metal detectors. So, I mean, you can't sneak stuff in as easy, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And they got all the locks fixed. Because when I first went in, you know, when I first went in there, they asked him. I picked my own cell. I mean, honestly, the first and the second time.
Yeah,
I picked my own cell.
Some of them didn't lock.
And no, the first phase, none of the locks worked.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, none of the locks worked. This jail was crap, bro. This jail was, man. It really like. So let me say it like this, like. The stuff that happened in that facility should be happening at my jail in LA, Rikers Island. It should happen at jails like that, of that magnitude. A little small country town jail like that, no.
There shouldn't be so many oversights.
No.
Right.
Nope. Right. And then, then another part of the problem is like, even like the CO who sent me to the hole, I mean, mind you, this town is so small. The people who's coming to jail, they're your childhood friends. That's your buddies you went to school with. I mean, I could, the whole the CO, oh man.
Didn't he even say like, I've never even seen you here before. What the hell are you doing? Wasn't it something like that?
Right. Yeah. He was insinuating that I was 60 days in. He was like, I never seen you here in Gaston before. And I was like, yeah, you'll never be where I am because I get money. You ain't gonna never be around me. So
that's why you don't see me. Because you can't see through the tent on my Lambo, motherfucker. That's why you never see me.
Yeah, we'll never rub shoulders ever in life, ever. It's just what it is.
I also wanted to ask
he
you.
was just trying
I wanted to ask you how many of your affiliates were crooked. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was wondering from a CO's perspective, because I know from personal experience that a lot of COs are crooked. I have no idea what percent. I'm not going to say one. I'm not going to say 99. I have no clues. Every jail and every prison got them, though. And I was wondering, are COs ever like open about that with the other COs? You know, are they ever just like, yeah, man, hey, look, this dude right here, he's legit. His people sent me $400 for 2 grams of weed, bro. He's legit, you know, so get him that money, you know, or is it a very, very much like somebody's going to snitch on me? I better keep it under my hat.
It's definitely keep it under your hat. People at my facility, we've had a gun in it's
Holy
crazy.
shit.
T.I. shot a music video in our jail. Shot a music video in our jail. Gucci Man, he did something of that nature. We had a gun. Someone brought a gun into the jail that actually made it to the floor.
Holy
that's all public records. It can be found.
Yeah.
It was all like gang stuff where this one inmate, there was rival gang members, but there was buddies. So he paid, I don't know if it was a CO, a nurse, medical, I don't know who, paid somebody to bring a gun in with one bullet, a revolver, and the inmate shot another inmate in the hand. So it was all the money. It was all about money, meaning the CO who did the shooting, he had life, so he's not getting out anyway. So he told him and the other CO got together and said, hey, if you shoot me in the hand, I can sue Fulton County and I can keep money on your books. I'm gonna get paid. I'm gonna get out of jail. I'm fighting this robbery. I'm gonna get out. You still going down the road. You're gonna get more time. You doing life anyway, so it's irrelevant how much more time you get. I'm gonna make sure your book's good, your kids good, everything good. So for them, it's a win-win. So the CO, I want to say when it came out that the CO or the nurse or whoever, the individual who brought it in, end up paying them maybe $60,000. Like $60,000 for it. And those numbers could and those numbers could be fabricated. I don't know, but what I've heard, it was like $60,000. So definitely, we had female officers sleeping with inmates. I mean, me personally, when I don't play with my chain of command. I don't play with my line staff. I don't play with people. Like if a CO or whoever say, oh, I think Tony's bringing in something, what I do, I go straight to the captain. Hey, Cap, listen, such and such said this, and this. What you think? You believe it or not? I said, furthermore, we can schedule a polygraph at GBI. Well, I can go down there as long as I can be on the clock. I go down there, take the polygraph, clear it up right now. And my captain told me straight up, man, get the hell out of my office. I know you ain't bringing nothing in. Don't even waste my time with that. And that's just the respect level that my chain of command have for me. And I'm talking, it go higher than the captain. I just didn't want to call their names, but
yeah, exactly.
And that's like people. I take it straight to people. Hey, Cap, listen. Somebody said this. I know if I heard it, it done got back to you. How you want to do it? You ain't got to open no investigation, none of that. I'm gonna willingly do whatever need to be done to show you I'm good always.
None to hide.
And that's the nothing to hide. And that's how I move. And it's like I mean, y'all remember that movie on American Gangster when the one cop turned into drugs and all the other cops was looking at him? Like that's a real thing. I figured it would be. I've been in a situation similar. Yeah, that's a real thing. I've been in a not to that extreme, of course, but I've been in situations where it was, that's a real thing, 100%.
Like an inmate turned in, a CO turned in another CO, and everybody's like, "You're a rat, motherfucker."
It's like with the whole phones thing. Like when so you figure a flip phone, we call them dinosaur phones. When somebody bring one of them in, that's like $1,000. You bring a smartphone, that's like $1,500 to $2,000, and it's the county. So people, you never know people's financial situations. You know what I mean? So you just never know. And once you do it one time, you're compromised forever. It's nothing. If they say, "Hey, I want this," you got to bring it, because if they don't, they're gonna snitch on you. They're gonna turn around and tell on you.
That's a good point.
They're
Then they
gonna
got
turn around
a
and tell on you.
line
So
on you.
you got right. So you got to do it. So and that's ultimately how people how COs get messed up, or they'll say the inmate, they'll say, "Oh, just one time," and that one time turn into two, then three, then before you know it, you bring in drugs, and you bring in knives, and you bring in this, and now you just don't nobody want to work with you. Like me personally, I'm upfront with people. If I hear anything, or if you moving funny around me, it ain't like I said, I don't play with inmates. I don't play with my line staff. I don't play with my chain of command. I don't play with my captains, lieutenant. I don't.
Does it
When
start
I'm right,
small
I'm
with
right. I
things
don't
like
care.
food?
I'm sorry.
I said, does it start small with things like, "Hey, can you bring us in a pizza or McDonald's," and then progress?
Exactly.
Remember one particular
In
instance.
my opinion, personally.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. In your opinion?
In my opinion, personally, at my facility, I don't think females, and let me say this politically correct, I don't think certain females, I'm not saying because they can't handle themselves, I'm just saying that certain females should not work on the maximum security floor if you're not on some type of special team. I don't think just a regular officer should work on 7. And because it's inmates of my caliber and bigger. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just a realist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the fight break out, I would rather have another man with me than a woman. You know what I mean? Because now, not only do I have to worry about myself, now I have to worry about the inmate trying to rape the woman. Now I got to, you know what I mean? It's a whole lot more to it. And I say that from experience. I'm not
in a more basic form of that. I remember when I was in high school, there was like 16-year-old girls that were skinnier than me joining the volunteer firefighters. I'm like, if I get into a car accident, there's no way in hell you're pulling me out of the car.
Yeah.
And there's no way in hell
Right.
you're going to pull my
Right.
mom, who's extremely overweight, out of the car. That's just not going to happen.
Uh-huh.
So,
it's
like,
not even
right person
about
for the
like
job.
the gender thing. It's about like the physical capabilities of that person. If it's a fucking
Exactly.
short ass, skinny ass dude,
Exactly.
like you don't
I
want
don't
that
want to
guy
work
there
on floor
either.
7.
You know?
I ain't trying to fucking be anywhere
Exactly.
near floor 7 personally.
Exactly. There's no reason why I should be up there. None.
And that's the funny part, and that's the crazy thing to me, is because say like a skinny dude, like everybody will be up front and blunt with them, like, "Hey, no, listen, man, you're 120 pounds, you're not going up there, you're not going up there." But when a female, say a heavy set female, decent size, they'll let that happen because it's the
She's
whole
5'4" and
it's
280.
because I'm a woman thing. They'll pull that exactly. You know,
Got to, like,
they'll
pretty
pull
much
that
got
card. But yeah. So it's like, all right. But yeah, man, it's
When did becoming a realist and saying, "Hey, there's just some jobs that aren't applicable for some people," when did that become wrong? Like, for some reason, it's wrong in so many different situations, and I don't fucking understand it. Maybe it's because I'm not part of that whole PC culture. I'm still willing to say fuck, shit, and cunt. But like, I don't fucking understand it. Like, I just don't. Like, just be honest, not only with yourself, but be honest with everybody around you. Either you can do the job or you can't. Either you can do 5 pull-ups and you're able to make it into the armed forces, or you can't do 5 pull-ups and you can't make it into the armed forces. It's not because of your sex, not because of anything.
It's because of your physical attributes. Job. Yeah, it's beyond your control.
Like, why is that so wrong? Like, I wouldn't hire a 50-year-old white guy who can't do 5 pull-ups, and I wouldn't hire an 18-year-old female who can't do 5 pull-ups. What the fuck's the difference?
Yeah, I think it's an overcorrection because we did have points in time where they were discriminated against, and now we're overcorrecting.
That's a good way of putting it. That's a very good way of putting it. I think that's probably exactly what it is. It's an overcorrection due to past bias is probably exactly what it is.
But now even calling it out, you're an asshole. You're a piece of shit because of it. Because you're saying, hey, I'm not looking at this with any bias. I'm saying if you can't do the fucking job, you can't do the fucking job. Like, I have no bias.
And especially in a jail, for the love of God. especially where it's literally life or death situations and something that can happen to you in there that you
and
can't
it's not
have
just
unhappen.
your life or death; it's other people's. You're accountable for other people's backs in there.
It's a heavy job, man, and I agree with Tony. I don't think everybody's for it. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree with what he's saying. I'm aware of the fact that out there are women who would do great at that job. Don't get me wrong. There are. I think he's speaking in general. So please, nobody be too terribly offended. I think
Get 6'1", 280 Hilda out there.
Look, y'all know my mom's married to a woman. Some of her best friends would be fine as CO. I'm telling you. My mom has got some friends that would be up there like, back up, bitch, like all up in their face. Trust me. But in general, that's not the case.
I just thought of a really fucked up joke. When we stop being live, I'll tell it. But
well, I have to make this joke because and my dad, who's married to another guy, would not be good up there.
On the flip side, my mom's friends would probably be great up there, but like Miss Dad's friends might not do so hot. So
exactly.
Oh, Tony, by the way, the number one question I get asked a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Oh no, go ahead.
All I was going to say is that with me, the big crazy thing with my internet personality aspect is the story of me going to prison, so I get asked constantly prison stuff all day, every day. And it doesn't bother me because I think that, the wisest man learns from the mistakes of another. And I think experiences are wasted if you don't share something that somebody might be able to legitimately learn from. So I don't mind talking about it. But the number one question I think I get asked, other than have I heard of another prison YouTuber, Larry Lawton, is have you ever watched 60 Days In and is it real? And you've already said, everybody want to think it's scripted and all this stuff. And I watched one episode of that on my live stream on Twitch. And I said, I have got no complaints. This shit looks 100% legit to me. Like, I just don't think anybody in there. I don't think they found that many people that look like that are that good at actors personally. It was the tension, the nose, like the things that you're not supposed to do, the secret sneaking around they were doing. It all looked 100% authentic to me. I had no doubts. Like, I was like, I don't think that they could have faked it this well personally. So it looked authentic to me.
Yeah, it's definitely it's 110% real. There's nothing. Nobody ever has a strip saying, "Hey, Tony, say this," or "Don't do this," or "Don't do that." Whatever I said, it was just off the hip. The most strip that was said, if any, would say, if I said something or say like some days I'm having a jacked up day and I don't want to do no interview. I'm just like, nah, I ain't feeling it. Nah, just take me back. Because I'm talking on the phone. Like one day, when I want to say the first time that I just had my little girl, and the AC went out in the house, and it was like 110 degrees, and I was just pissed off because there's nothing I could do. And I was just pissed off. I didn't want to do no interviews. I just want to sit in my cell. I really didn't want to go out and about because I'm pissed off. I don't want somebody to say something to me now I get in a fight, take my anger out on them. I don't want to do that. If we fight, I want to be a fight because of a legit fight. And so they called me. I was like, nah, I ain't really feeling it today. And I was like, well, can you just repeat it then? Like just to repeat something. But as far as a strip holding up cue cards and this and nah.
Right, especially not when you were in the cells.
I said if Champagne and I, Like when I said if Champagne and I fight 5 times, I win 4 or put Champagne on ice, that was just off the hip.
You're just quoting the song from 2009.
The Champagne on Ice was good, not gonna lie. I bet his mouth would close up like Chick-fil-A on a Sunday when he said that shit. That was a good one. Champagne on Ice. I always tell everybody it looks completely authentic to me. I've got no complaints. I said nobody seemed like they were fed a line. It looks 100% real to me. I had no complaints. Like I've seen other shows that deal with jail and prison and stuff like that, and you can tell they kind of either stoke the situation or they intentionally explain it wrong to make it more tense than it really is. But that doesn't seem like 6 days in at all. They just picked the jail where they had, a lot of ignorant folks in there that were going to make great TV, and Tony went in there and shut the shit down. It was awesome. And I had no complaints. It looked real. I agreed with you before you even said it. I've never thought that the show was fake. It didn't seem. The only thing, like you said, off-camera interviews, every reality show, whether it's real or not, they're going to kind of feed a line or two for those off-camera interviews. I think everybody knows and expects that. But the situation itself and in the cells is when you were like totally off the grid with them, the closest thing you got is, what was it, either this or, my arm hurts. And it was so authentic, man. I think it showed on the film. I think it really showed. And that's why so many people have resonated with it. And it's been such an addicting TV show is because of how raw it is.
Well, also there's people that have been on the show that called out recent seasons for saying that they're 100% fake. Now, Tony is the third person from 60 Days In that I've had on. I've had Mark on, and I've had Johnny Ramirez on. In that order, Tony is the third. So Mark is a heavyset white guy that was Bible study.
I remember him.
Bible study.
I was about to say
That
Bible study guy.
ended up becoming a
This
huge.
guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to give people fives. Hey.
Mr. Awkward Fist Bump. And super sweet fucking dude.
Now, I think didn't he criticize the show for them editing it to make it look like nobody attended his Bible study?
Yes. But
What?
Johnny Ramirez came out saying that there's no way in hell that Mark would be able to become a pod boss. And there's no way in hell that a lot of what happened in season 5 and season 6 were genuinely happening, which I found absolutely insane after watching both seasons. I was like, there's no way in hell Abner's faking. There's no way in hell Tony's faking. There's no way in hell that fucking David faked any of that shit. He fucked up and he...
Which one was David? Was that the guy that when they said, what are you in there for? And he said, oh, man, some old bullshit. They found me guilty when I went in there. Some old fines, man. I was never even damn out. And then he got in bed. And everybody's
he was season
what'd you
5.
do now? You molested a kid is what I heard.
He was a black cop that ended up telling one of the COs that he was a cop and ended up putting everybody at risk.
Oh my God. Then they were looking for the rats, I guess. The rats in the jail. That's crazy. That's dangerous, man. That's the kind of shit that needs to be under control.
That was the end of season 5.
That's the kind of shit that puts Tony in danger, puts other people in danger, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Tony, I'm aware of the fact you look like you're in very good physical shape, and I know you're not afraid to carry a knife, man. But in a realistic situation, 90 inmates deciding that guy's got to die doesn't go well for any of us. You know? That's crazy. That dude compromised it like that.
I'm tapping out.
Hell yeah.
Hey, come get me. Hey.
Hey, don't even be secret about it. Stand up, waving the camera, spit on that motherfucker. Get their attention.
Yeah. I'm no fool. I'm no fool.
But you handled it great, obviously, man.
It's all real.
Mm-hmm.
It's all real. I don't know my man Johnny or whatever his name is. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not even familiar with him. But I don't unless they did something different from how they and even looking at the clips that I've seen of the couple episodes I've seen of Abner, that's not fake.
No,
didn't look like it to me.
None of that's fake.
Well, he was in Fulton County.
None of that's fake.
So Johnny Ramirez was part of season 4, and he was in Fulton County.
They went to Fulton for season 4?
So yeah, he was at my jail.
Season 3 and season 4.
Tony, were you at work whenever they had the dudes in there?
Yeah, I was. I was. So they was on the 3rd or 4th floor. So I didn't have no interaction with them. I was on 7. So I think the most I even seen of the camera crew, we had a help call come down on like either 3 or 4. No, it was a code red, like a fire. So me and 2 other guys, we come down, and we realized it was a drill. It wasn't real. That was transporting inmates through the stairway, and one fell. And it's set up to see just how we train. And we put them on the gurney, walking them down. So I was actually on there on season 3 for like 2 seconds. Like you can't even see my face; you just see my back. And I'm just going down the steps. I'm just going down the steps with a guy taking my medical. And after that, I just go straight back to my floor. I was like, yeah, this whole TV thing. You know, we Fulton County get on TV a lot, like Beyond Scared Straight, stuff like that, all kind of different little shows. So it's not new really at Fulton to have cameras all over the place. Is it the news? Is there somebody there doing with a camera? So it's like, yeah, y'all do y'all thing, we doing ours, we good.
And soon it'll be Chief Tony.
Yeah.
We can hope.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind those bars.
The stripes. Hey, if anybody ever notices that that's you carrying the gurney in season 4, everybody's gonna think the show's fake. I'm just saying. Everybody's gonna be like, no, hold the fuck up. No, that's Tony. This is fake. He's a producer on the show or something. No, this is fake. No. That's why I was asking, because I was like, what a weird coincidence. They're like, an inmate, one of the planted inmates has an issue with a CO, and they pan the camera and it's Tony. I don't give a fuck. Get back in your cell, bro. I didn't ask you all that. Get in there.
And it's the 2 Iron Men. It's fucking Nate in season 3 and season 4, who's now passed on, rest in peace, who did 2 fucking seasons worth of fucking 60 days in. He's like, Tony, What the fuck's wrong, man? Give me my iPad.
Oh, the iPad guy.
Right.
Yeah.
The guy where that guy broke his iPad. And he was just
Uh-huh.
complaining about it. Bro,
Yep.
I'm a little scrawny white guy, bro, but I know the rules. Some dude borrows your shit and breaks it and gives it back. You got to go punch him, man. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I would have been over there like, damn, I'm about to get my ass kicked over this. But
The Bloods were going to beat the shit out of the guy that broke it.
Mhm.
oh, yeah, that's a good point. I'm not going to lie. A lot of times,
see,
we don't have to get too much into this, but I saw a lot of times where a gang member did something ignorant and the gang handled it for real. And they put it to rest. And they said, our bad.
Yeah.
That we don't endorse that. Our bad. We handled that. You don't even got to worry about it. And it was a lot worse than what, the other guys would have done.
Well, boys, that's
That
been
is
2
true.
hours.
And
Go ahead, Tony. I was just going to sign us off. You're good.
Yeah, I
oh
want to
no, okay. Now I was gonna say that's true what you were saying about the gangs, because that's part of what when I was saying, like when the young guy come off the street for like murder or whatever, and I'll tell him to do something and he just want to buck. We refer to it as bucking. And the other, I don't even have to do nothing to him or say anything to him. The other inmates be like, "Hey man, get in line, get right. Murray ain't gonna play with you. Go and get right. And they really, the inmates really police themselves. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you come in and do what you say you're gonna do, if you say you're gonna bring them inmate requests, or you're gonna take them to medical, or you're gonna do this, you're gonna give them socks. If you do what you say you're gonna do, 9 times out of 10, the inmates will, police themselves and make your job easier, to be honest.
You heard what I said. When you said the young
honest.
knuckleheads always walking back slow, you heard what I said. I said, I hate that shit. I hate it. Can't stand it. For one thing, I'm trying to get this count over with. And for second of all, he might be in a bad mood today and you're about to get us all shook down, bro. Put some pep in that step, man. Come on, dude.
Right.
Well,
Other people in here.
Yep.
When you're having a really bad day or having a shitty fucking time, the last thing you want to do is have the new guy fuck it up and make your day even fucking worse.
Very true.
Like, I'm sure that there's days where you just fucking lay in bed because you don't want to fucking do anything. And then you have some asshole that's fucking walking back and being slow and retarded.
Yep.
And if
That's
you
the
get
last thing
shook
you
down over that, I'm sure there's going to be some bucking, like he said.
The inmate's in big trouble if he gets everybody shook down. That
Oh,
almost happened to me on my second or third day in prison. I almost got us shook down, and I was threatened quite severely about how things work. And bro, you don't step out of line here and get everybody. This ain't just you. He's not going to shake your cell down for that. He's going to shake down this block. So get your ass to the cell whenever they call the count.
Yeah, because people got phones in there, people got weed, people got shanks, and if you mess all their little operation up, we call it they're gonna put you on the door and pretty much send you to the hole, the PC, beat you up to the
roll it up, buddy.
Grady,
Roll it up.
Yep.
Hit the horn, buddy. You're gone.
Well, Tony,
This
I
has
want to
been a
offer.
great episode.
I want to
man.
offer you anytime you want to come back and talk. Obviously,
Please.
you have some shit that's going on. You want to come back and hang out? Come back and hang out. It's been a fucking blast. I think I speak for everybody when I say that. It's been a fucking blast of a show. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out.
Shit was
We
tough.
killed fucking numbers today. So I just want to say that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out. We'll see you fucking next time. See you fucking later. Thank you, Toner.